My new name should be Machete Sills. Because I have the machete out today. Okay? I have the machete out. Because we're going to go hunting. By the way, always, especially on a football Friday, we started out with big sills. And by the way, we are powered by our great friends at BetUS. All 4 hours of the program. We appreciate those dudes being part of the program. If you guys are looking for a new betting house this coming football season, those are your boys along with JAKIB Sports, so we appreciate it. So I'm going to put the goggles on now. Let me clean them off here a little bit because I want to have clarity. I want to have clarity in where I'm going here. But before we start slicing and dicing, 1 week out from Packers and Eagles, Sao Paulo. Hey, by the way, Gardner Johnson, Devontae, AJ. I don't really think the Eagle players want to go to Brazil and play. I mean, that's just big sills, but it don't look like they're too hot to go down there and play a ball game. I got to think the Packers are the same way. Hey, nobody likes making those trips and those European vacations or those South American vacations. Nobody likes doing that to play a game. They don't like to do that, especially week one. That's not happening. It just doesn't look like it. Oh, and tomorrow, Canes and Gators. How you doing? University of Miami. We're going to wreak a little havoc on the college world starting this year. We're going to get that bad puppy back to being where, guess what? The fraudulent Bama run will once again have the ascension of the University of Miami, where kings are kings. Legends are made. Hall of Famers, year in and year out, go in to Canton, Ohio, from the University of Miami. How you doing? Going up to Shittsville, Florida, making a little history. Go get them, boys. I'll be watching. By the way, the Mario Cristobal interview is there for you guys if you want to go back and watch. Big sills with Mario Cristobal. Hey, by the way, let me say this to you, man. The biggest fraud in college football this year will be the Colorado Buffaloes. They struggled against North Dakota State. Carson Wentz's beer-drinking white boys. Holy cow. Hey. Bama, where legends are made. I love it, man. The college football, there's nothing like college football, man. There's nothing like college football. Hey, get this. Let me read you a Shador Sanders line after last night's game against a Division II opponent. You understand I use the old school Division II. North Dakota State's Division II. It's like playing against Villanova. Okay, that's Division II. That's like FBS, they call it now, or some shit. So this is what the delusional Shador Sanders said. He had 445 yards against white corners last night. This is what this guy said today, I guess it was. He said this here. We just took one of the greatest dynasties of college football, and we took them down. North Dakota State? 9-time national champ, but still certain folks don't want to give us credit. You struggled against a program that barely recruits and throws scholarships at people. You have an awful football team. Travis Hunter is the real deal. Sanders, I'm not drafting that guy. The best player between those two guys is Travis Hunter. There is no doubt about that. I think that guy's the best player in the country. He's the best player in the country. Unbelievable. By the way, guys, do me a favor, please. Please hit the like button. Now, are you ready? By the way, Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator of the Eagles a year ago, had no chance. He had no chance at being a decent coordinator. No chance in hell you have a head coach a year ago in Nick Sirianni meddling in the offensive play calling, and you had a center taking the most important responsibility away from a quarterback? How Jalen Hurts has won the amount of games and put up the amount of yards he's put up is mind-numbing with all the meddling that goes on. Okay? It is. Now, his accountability is absolutely ass. Yesterday. So let me say this to you. How many people think I took what Jalen Hurts said out of context? Okay? How many people thought yesterday I took Jalen Hurts' comments out of context? Oh, do we have some topics here? Okay? How many people thought that? That I took those comments of Hurts's? You tend to overreact it sometimes. Andreas, you did. Well, let's play him. Let's play him. Should we play him? Andreas says, you did. He says, I took him and I didn't represent Hurts's words. Cheese goes like this. Who cares? I think Jalen Hurts has a character problem. I think Jalen Hurts has a character problem. He has, for a season that has been dubbed by Nick Sirianni on a t-shirt, accountability, he has none. Get this. 9 minutes in. Well, let's do this. Why? No, it's not bashing. It's called holding the people, like Nick Sirianni said, fucking accountable. Hey, B-Mac, isn't the theme of the Philadelphia Eagles in 24 holding your teammates accountable? Andreas, okay, let's play it. Let's play it. Okay? Let's play it. And then you make your own assessment on what you think you're hearing. This is from ESPN, and I believe First Take.
Jason Kelce under center, but now with the passing of the torch to 25-year-old third-year center,
Let's start it.
Jalen Hurts admits that he was told not to worry about a lot of things when it came to pass protection with Jason Kelce under center. But now with the passing of the torch to 25-year-old third-year center Cam Jurgens, Hurts will have a more important role in things like picking up the blitz. Here's Hurts on the post-Jason Kelce era.
We had a great player in Jason Kelce who took on a lot of responsibility, and as a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn and all of that over the years, kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different, and I'm excited for that journey.
So Kelce's gone, and his development was stunted. That's how I read that. No more excuses, you Hurts lovers. That's a character thing. That's a character thing. It's a character thing. Is it between Sirianni and Hurts? If you're the ownership, why would you keep Nick Sirianni in the room if you know that's how Jalen Hurts feels about him like that? Why would you keep him retained? Because you don't want to look bad because he's been to the playoffs? Your quarterback fucking hates that guy for stunting his growth the last 3 years because you didn't give him the most important thing to develop a quarterback. You did it with fucking Wentz too. There's no getting around the fact Wentz had the same issues at the end in Philly that Hurts had at the end of the season last year. Okay? Get this. He'll talk. You don't get this. Every news outlet on the planet is talking about the disconnect with the quarterback and the fucking current head coach. Mr. Perez goes, he'll talk about this for the first 2 hours. You're damn right. Because I'll ask common questions that affect the 2024 season. I don't give a shit about 23. 23 laid the cement for this problem that you still have. You still have cancer. You still have cancer. You didn't get rid of cancer. You still have the cancer. Look at this. Okay, where is that again? Every time a guy like M. Perez says I'm drunk, we're going to play the soundbite. Because you know what this turns out to be? Some Eagle fans living in denial.
Jalen Hurts admits that he was told not to worry about a lot of things when it came to pass protection with Jason Kelce under center. But now, with the passing of the torch to 25-year-old third-year center Cam Jurgens, Hurts will have a more important role in things like picking up the blitz. Here's Hurts on the post-Jason Kelce era.
We had a great player here, Jason Kelce, who took on a lot of responsibility, and as a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn and all of that over the years, kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different, and I'm excited for that journey.
Keep it up. Play it again if you want. No problem. Now, is he blaming Nick Sirianni as his development as a quarterback in Philly? Who's he blaming? Is he blaming the organization? I wanted to make sure we had the soundbite so that you just weren't thinking it was me. Your boy said it. Get this. He didn't say anything wrong. That's not the point here. That's not the point. Why are you bringing it up? This is getting out of hand. The meddling we've known forever. Now it seems it's getting worse. It is getting worse. No wonder a lot of talent doesn't develop under us. It's all control everywhere and everything. Absolutely, Jason. Thank you for the super chat. Jason, Howie Roseman does 9 or 8 out of 10 things exceptional. Contract negotiations, restructuring of contracts, finding veterans on rosters at the bottom and finding guys that are golden nuggets. All those things are so true. He's pretty good at acquisitions of free agents that are out in the meant to be an impact on the team. Hassan Reddick, trading for Darius Slade. Those are all really good moves. But at the end of the day, the problem becomes he gets involved in the game planning, the picking of the roster that the coaches want. I wonder really how many of those players on the current roster the coaching staff really had a complete say in, because if you're telling me Howie Roseman, general managers don't have the final say anywhere else with successful coaches. You actually think Les Snead has the final call in Los Angeles with Sean McVay? I know for a fact he doesn't. Do you think the people in Pittsburgh have the final say over Mike Tomlin or John Harbaugh with what they do there? With not Cassari, with DaCosta? No, they don't. The head coach has complete autonomy, and they work together. The only places that I can think of are the Cowboys and the Eagles that do that shit. Now, let me go into the topic here. And once again, Brian Johnson never had a chance to be a coach. Stop blaming him. Stop blaming him. Jalen Hurts got Brian Johnson fired then, if that's the case. If you tell me Josh Allen got Joe Brady or the Ken Dorsey fired in Buffalo, Jalen Hurts got Brian Johnson fired. Case closed. He got him fired. That's his responsibility, is it not? You tell me that Ken Dorsey was the result of Josh Allen. Well, same in Philly. It works there too. Okay? Get this. Here's false news. Here's false news. Where is it? It was Johnson's system. Folks, will you tell Andreas whose offense it was last year? We heard every week at the podium. Can you guys tell Andreas whose system and whose offense it was last year? He must have said it at least 16 of the 17 weeks. Reggie, thank you. Help him out. Will you guys help Andreas out? And who kept telling us week in and week out whose offense it was? Look, now we know who are the enablers in here. Okay? We now know. What's here? Look, see? Twiz is an enabler. The other guy's an enabler. And they don't want to face reality. Let me ask you this. With what you just heard, that Jalen Hurts is blaming either the organization, Jason Kelce, or Nick Sirianni for his lack of development as a quarterback. Is that how you took that? I wonder how Nick Sirianni feels about his quarterback throwing him under the bus nationally yesterday, saying that the reason that my development was hindered was because I didn't have complete control of the offense. That's on the coach. How do you think that relationship is between Nick and Jalen today? Worse or better? I think it's worse. Nick's got to eat crow. Why are the Eagles making Nick Sirianni eat crow? Is that his job? To eat crow and to take it on the chin? I can't wait. I pray to God we don't have a Dana Bash in the Philly media. And they'll ask a decent question. I pray to God that they'll press Sirianni on it. By the way, I actually kind of feel for Nick here. It was all knee pad Nick's fault. Honestly. I mean, Hurts and Nick don't get along. Hurts' character won't let him say something about him. He just said it yesterday. He said that Nick Sirianni stunted his growth as a quarterback for the last 3 years. It's either Nick or Howie he's blaming. He's not blaming Howie because anytime he mentions people that he's dealing with now, it goes Mr. Laurie, Howie, Kellen, the quarterback coach, and then Nick. So who is it? Knee pad Nick told us it was Brian Johnson's office. He never fucking said that. He never said that. That is an absolute fake news lie by Flexen. He said it was my offense. Brian Johnson was calling the plays. Facts. That's a lie. That's a Philadelphia Eagles sports fan lie. It's a bold-faced lie. Okay? Bold-faced lie. Now I understand why you've been confused for 35 years. Thank God Big Sills is here to straighten most of you fuckers out because you've been getting fed. And as the years have gone on, WIP and 97.5 have become knee pad and knee bend over stations for that football team because accessibility is lacking. They're not going to put people on those stations any longer or shows that don't conform. They'll put a sexual harassment guy on the air to make sure that that message is out. They'll put a guy who destroyed Deshaun Jackson's career in Philly They'll put him in the dugout or in the locker room in Philadelphia and at the NovaCare Center just to get their message out. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't tell you the truth. They lie to you daily. They're not telling you the truth. Not telling you the truth. Get this. Eduardo goes like this. Who lit the fuse on Sil's tampon? You must got me wrong, dude. You must be thinking of the guy, Tim, whatever his name is. He's the guy that puts tampons in dudes' lockers or dudes' bathrooms. Not me. Wrong guy. Get your parties right. Not that I'm affiliated. I'm affiliated with the Big Sil's party. Jalen Hurts has got to grow up. Sil's ultimately, Jalen Hurts' growth is on Jalen Hurts. That's right, Bob. I understand wanting to learn team blocking schemes while Kelce was there, but the delay puts his offense at a disadvantage. Hey, Xander, can you please put up that super chat I missed? Thank you. Kneepack Nick, a.k.a. Sore Throat Sirianni. Okay. How do you think you feel? Hey, let me ask you this. How's this? Hey, wait a minute. Where's the other guy here that said something? Why are you mad at me for a guy calling his coach out? What are you mad at me for? Why are you mad at me? Why are you throwing names at me when he's the guy that said that? Chill, bro. Why are you getting worked up over other men? I cover football teams. I cover shit like this. We were never told why the football team destroyed itself last year. I don't think the problems have been fixed. Jameson, let's leave you up here for a minute. So you think the problems in the Philadelphia Eagle locker room, Jalen Hurts on August 29th coming out and saying that the organization hindered my development as a quarterback, you think that's been fixed because of the hiring of Kellen Moore? How many people think that's fixed when Hurts is still bringing it up? How many people? Jameson, do you think that that's been fixed? Watch this answer. You want to see another green-eyed answer? You want to see another green-eyed answer? Come on, Jameson, tell them. All better, right? You got a quarterback that is saying that this organization is Get this. Can I say something to you about Hurts? I wish to Jesus that Carson Wentz had said this publicly. I wish he said this publicly. That'll give you full control of your own offense in Philly as a quarterback. Because if Hurts doesn't have it, and they're paying him more than they paid Wentz. Wentz never had it either. Here lies your problems in development of your quarterbacks. You will never develop a quarterback. I am so convinced that guy will never win like he did in 22, more so now than ever before. You know why? Fundamentally, you can't help yourselves. You destroyed Wentz. You're trying to destroy Hurts. And you do it with two things: rotating coordinators and meddling. And now, get this. If Jalen Hurts can't pick up that blocking, do you know who the next guy in line is going to be to help pick up the blocking? Landon Dickerson. It's going to be Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens. And they'll go back next year, just like they had a 360 thought process on getting a new coordinator in this year. That will be taken from Jalen. If he doesn't improve on recognizing blitzes, that will be taken from him. You know why? The organization has relented and said, okay, Jalen, are you sure Jalen is going to be able to handle this? I'm not. He's never done it. Get this. Here's another thing you have to understand. Flex didn't tell the truth. Not true. Hey, Never told the truth. Hey, so Jalen Hurts is doing something again, two things that he's never done on a consistent basis. Been a drop back passer and now recognizing blitzes. And you're giving him the benefit of the doubt. Why? He's never done it. He's never done it. He has never done it in 5 years in Philly. Why are you giving that the benefit? Not a chance in hell you win that Green Bay game. No way. No way. No way. Truth, justice, and the Big Sills way will always win. Absolutely. Hey, wait a minute. Sills. So, Matty, he looks like an old man. He looks like the old man from Up. Hey, why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me, man? Here, every time messages like that come up, every single time, this is what we get to hear. The golden voice of Jalen Hurts talking about not being developed in Philadelphia. Wonderful. Here we go. This is for you. Twiz, Flex.
About a lot of things when it came to pass protection with Jason Kelce under center, but now with the passing of the
Prince,
torch
is
to
for you.
25-year-old third-year center.
Wait,
Cam
here it
Jordan.
comes.
Hurts will have a more important role
The
in
golden
things like
child.
picking up the blitz. Here's Hurts on the post-Jason Kelce era.
We had a great player in Jason Kelce who took on a lot of responsibility, and in result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things.
Not my fault.
And so my eagerness to learn and all of that over the years, kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different, and I'm excited for that journey.
Now he's out of the building. Now I'm excited about moving forward with my development as a quarterback. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at your guy. Get mad at your guy. You're Nick Sirianni. You got to be listening to that going like this. Jesus Christ, this guy's still throwing me under the bus. Still throwing me under a bus. And get this. Hey, is that leadership? Is that leadership? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Hey, I didn't take it that way. You guys are snowflakes, some of you, man. Some of you are the biggest pussies I've ever seen in my life. There, I said it. You are so... I've never seen anything like it. Some of you really, honestly, need to check the time of the month for you. It's really unbecoming of a sports fan, especially ones that watch the show here. Oh, my God. Oh, man. Hey, Sills, what did you think Jalen meant last year when he said, I question people's commitment? Hey, Madbird, thank you, man. Good. Hey, Xander, I missed another super chat. I apologize there. If we can get that loud. Yeah. My eagerness to learn coming from a quarterback who still can't read a defense after playing the position for 20 years. Hey, Nasta, but here's the problem. Now I know why he can't read defenses, because he's never been asked to read protections. You can't read. If you can't identify blitzing and pressure, there's not a chance in hell you're going to be a good reader of defenses. The first and foremost thing when you go to the line of scrimmage as a quarterback is identify where you think the pressure's coming from. Then you're looking for the free or strong safety to try to figure out if they're in man or zone. Then you're trying to figure out a pre-snap read that gives you an idea where the hole in the defense is going to be. Then you got to set the fucking protection, which he's never done that either. This guy's so far behind. And the reason the RPO worked, because all those things were taken out. He didn't have to set protection in an RPO. He didn't have to read defenses in an RPO. But now you got him in an offense. He's got to do all that. Okay. Who the hell do you think you drafted? Patrick Mahomes? This is classic. How you destroy kids' development. Hey, it's only 5 years in. Congratulations. You're now going to give the kid the ability to learn how to pick up pressure. Wow. Way to go. Only 5 years in. Wow. That's really dope of you. 5 years in, you're going to teach a guy how to identify pressure. Holy shit. No wonder the guy, I kept saying this the whole fucking time. No wonder he can't read a defense. Now I know it's really not on Hurts. No quarterback in the NFL has a center calling pass protection. Nobody. Not even Kyler Murray. Not even Kyler Murray calls his own protection. He was asked it 2 days ago. Stills in 22, the Eagles' offense was blitzed 129 times. In 2023 season, they were blitzed 142. That's only 12 more times in 2022. Abe. And they got home. And they got home. So you're telling me the organization intentionally refused to develop their $250 million quarterback for some petty reason. Are you living in the Twilight Zone? Are you living in reality? Because that's exactly what happened. Jeff Stoutland and the center had the responsibility that every quarterback in the National Football League has on his plate, setting pass protection. The quarterback is the guy who's standing up. He's going to identify the pressure better than anybody bending over. That's how no wonder Hurts doesn't audible a lot. My God almighty, do you guys know anything about football? Bob, are you in here? Now you know why Hurts doesn't audible a lot. He doesn't audible because why? The pass protection set. That's a tip-off to a defense and a defensive coordinator. You're tipping your plays. You don't see that. If you can't audible out of plays because the quarterback is worried that the center is on a different page in pass protection and identifying pressure, the quarterback's not changing the play. He can't. Hurts wants to change a play. Jalen comes to the line of scrimmage. He identifies where he thinks the pressure's coming from. Kelce's called something different, and he's already down in his stance. He can't audible out of that. He's got to go with the play like we saw a year ago. That's why Hurts went to primary targets. Wow. You fucked this kid all up last year. You wanted him to do so many different things, but you didn't allow him to do the key things to make it happen. No wonder he hasn't thrown for $4,000 like every other mainstream quarterback, including Baker Mayfield. Holy cow. Holy Maron. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Stills Hurts' hands would be tied because he has no options. Correct, Bob. Jason Kelce comes to the line of scrimmage and he sees where he believes pressure's coming from. He says set. You can't audible out of that. You can't audible out of that. Because Hurts has had that taken. He told you, don't worry about it. Well, the defense starts knowing that. Hey, the center's making the snap. He's making the pass protection. How many times do you think they gave them false blitz reads? Half the time? That's why they struggled picking it up. It's a fundamental technique problem. The quarterback has to be that guy. He has to. He has to be that guy. Dude, Jalen had quite a job last year. Dan, remember when the quarterback did it all? Peeked his head out of the huddle, looked at the D, called the play, and then audibled out if necessary. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, think about it. Okay? get this. Hey, Bob. And what I'm saying is this is the fundamentals on how you develop a quarterback. Sales Hurts' comments will put the new relationship with Sirianni to test. This comment will expose the cancer. If the media takes a shot at Jalen, how he's the cancer, he approved the hit piece. Absolutely. Absolutely. The Eagles had to have been made aware. Oh, no, Jalen said this. Hey, get this. Jalen said this free at a radio telethon. Okay? Holy cow. My lawn. I mean, organizational malpractice. Nice culture and leadership. Quarterback is 4 years behind in his development. Okay? Better call Martindale again. Maybe he can get Jalen ready. Black Leo, it's the organization running Hurts like they did Wentz. Is the organization ruining Hurts like they did Wentz? Absolutely. They're doing the same fundamental. Well, wait a minute. Here's the difference, though. Black Leo. They never gave Wentz the ability to call pass protection because Kelce was in the building. This is the first time they've gone outside of fundamental mentality of an organization. For whatever reason, Jeff Stoutland and Jason Kelce did not trust Jalen Hurts and his ability to be able to read blitz pressure when he first got the job. And let me ask you one more thing. You paid a quarterback $50 million knowing full well he can't identify blitz pressure? High school quarterbacks can do that. I mean, you paid a guy $50 million knowing full well he's underdeveloped as a passer. You know, Xander, everyone, I've been telling you I don't believe in the guy as a passer. You know what? I've been telling you I don't believe in the guy as a passer. Maybe it isn't Jalen. Maybe it isn't him. I wish Carson Wentz had said it earlier too. Hey, man, the number one key you have as a quarterback, there's two things you have to have in development on being able to read an NFL defense. What was the number one thing that used to always hamper Brady? Identifying internal pressure. Identifying internal pressure. Hey, I like how some of you are trying to change the subject. This hasn't been resolved because you know why? The quarterback is more of an outlier now going into this year than any other time in his career. He's never identified pressure. He's not that great at reading defenses because of that. So now on his plate, he's got to add something different, which he's been working diligently at. And he's got a new coordinator and a new center. I want to see it. And I got a feeling that's one of the reasons why AJ and Devontae were saying that at the press conference yesterday. Let's see how it works. Let's see how this works. Your opinion, Sales. How does Hurts right the ship this year? What does he need to do to improve? Black Leo. You know what, Leo, I would say, fuck those coaches, not Kellen. I don't want to hear anything out of anybody's mouth. If I get sacked, it's on me. If I throw a pick, I don't want to hear it. This is my team now. I'm not listening to anybody. You didn't listen to me when I wanted to be more involved in the setting of protection and also on identifying blitz pressure. You didn't want to hear my opinion. This is my spot now. Okay? This is my spot. He's being asked to do something in this Packer game he's never done on 3 different levels. And you're just giving him the benefit. No way. No way. I guarantee you that offense in the first half struggles. Then they'll go simple and they'll go back to basic. Packers better not get a lead on them. They'll lose. That game could be over in the first half if they get up 14-0. You're not coming from behind because they'll panic and throw the ball more. You need a lead on Green Bay right out of the gate. Dan, you're too right. Green Bay will blitz the living hell out of them. The Packers will run, and Love will pick us apart. Packers take the opener 38-28. Think about something else, what Jalen's identifying. Think about something else too, Bob, what he's done. Guys, who's the Green Bay defensive coordinator? Got a brand new guy up there, right, Bob? Seals, the situation is proof of the organization's belief in plug and play. Hurts and Wentz treated the same, but Foles was used differently by Doug, Foles, and Doug. Gone. Howie calls the shots. Who's the D coordinator up there in Green Bay? Happy Friday, my guy, Big Sills. This is crazy that we are going into week 1 and the 8 ball not even counting the defense not being addressed anyhow. Hey, I know, man. I feel for you, dude. That whole football team, I get it. Sills, you act like Hurts isn't good at quick passes. No, he's not. He doesn't have a short fucking passing game. He never had an audible game. Because that wasn't in the cards for him. He's not good at short passes because he's never done it. What are you making up now? You guys are manufacturing a quarterback that doesn't exist. The ghost of Jeff Fisher, the only thing you're going to see from Sirianni this season is him pacing up and down the sidelines. He's got to take a crap. Okay, Halfley. Jeff Halfley. Thank you very much. Okay, so get this. You got Jalen Hurts on a radiothon yesterday telling people, well, now this is my first year that I'll be in charge of pass protection. If I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm going to put that science to test right away. I'm actually going to see what this guy can understand and I'm going to throw so many different looks at him and disguises at him. We'll find out right away. We'll find out right away. You don't really get this. Jalen Hurts tipped his hand, too. He shouldn't have said anything about it. You shouldn't have brought that up, that this is the first year you're going to be identifying pressure. I mean, you tipped your hand. You told a Green Bay Packer team, he's been in the league 5 years. 5 years. I've never handled blitz pressure. Okay. Well, let's put that to test. Okay? Guys, please hit the like button. They're gonna bring massive pressure. And they're gonna disguise, and they're also gonna do this to Packers. They're gonna have post-snap coverage changes. And they're gonna bring pressure from all kinds of different ways. That offensive line, get this. Saquon Barkley's biggest impact in that game at Green Bay on next Friday will be pass protection. It'll be pass protection. Hey, Cowboy dude, stop talking to me about a bust like Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith, Jalen Carter. I mean, dude. It's like talking to me about your owner that looks like Skeletor and talking to me about Brad Pitt and how good they look. Stop it. It's night and day. Mozzie Smith, he sucks. Dude, honestly, stop with Mozzie. If you want to talk about a Cowboy that's good, okay, but not a guy that's not good. I mean, Big Seals, do you trust Slang and Rodgers to tackle in the flat? I don't think you have to tackle I don't think you have to tackle any longer in the flat. I think you have to corral him towards pursuit, which is the middle of the field. Okay? I think this is going to be your defense is not going to be a high impact defense. When I'm talking about high collisions, you want to turn everything in from the numbers to the zone in the middle of the field. Remember what I told you what a two-eye safety is? Guys, you're not okay. Once again, guys, two high safety. I'll write it out a little bit later. But the two high safety, you're going to have a zone in the middle of the field. That's where Vic wants all the football plays made. He fears the numbers because his corners are 10 yards off the ball. Okay? You got two high safety and corners 10 yards off the ball. And you got backers who can't cover, and they're going to be back a little more, which means this. You know how much pressure is going to be on Carter and Davis to stop the run? If Green Bay can't stop the run, what happens? Those linebackers have to shrink in, and your zone becomes even bigger, and Love will pick it apart in the middle. Because fundamentally, you can't cover playing 10 yards deep and 2 deep. Scheme-wise, you can't. You're at a disadvantage. He's going to throw for – now, that doesn't mean they win the game if he throws for a ton of yards, but he's going to throw for a ton of yards if you can't stop the run. If the run stopped and the two tackles are playing well, those backers can float back a little more back in the zone and shrink that zone. But you can't shrink it from the top because you're playing too high safety. It's a fundamental defense that either this, if you get killed against the run, you're losing the game anyway because you're playing too deep. You're playing 2 deep, 4 across the board in the back end. Do you understand how far you're off the ball? Your safeties are going to be 25 yards to 20 yards off the ball. And your corners are 10 yards off the ball. How do you cover a Justin Jefferson like that? It's impossible. And if you're not getting pressure. That's a great take. That's a great take. That's the game. That is the game that Vic Fangio is playing right there what Pickens said. That's the game. Yards over points. Absolutely 1,000%. That is Vic Fangio's defense. That is it right there. No question about it. Get this. This guy says this is where Cooper DeJean comes in. Give me a fucking break. Cooper DeJean. So you're going to have a cornerback who never played the cornerback position really at a high level in Isaiah Rodgers and hasn't played ball in a year. You're going to put a rookie from Iowa at one of the corner safeties, and you're going to take Mitchell off the field, and you're counting on Slay not having had an age year or Father Time hits him. Jordan Love will throw for 450 yards in that game. That's right. It's a bend but don't break defense. Mr. International, this is what Vic Fangio is saying. He doesn't believe the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love could take a 12-play drive without making a mistake or having a 3-and-out before they get the ball back and you have to punt it on 4th down. They're not trying to get you off the field right away. They're playing for you to make a mistake because he doesn't have the people yet. I'm actually most excited for Friday's game just to see if the offense, coaching staff has any answers for when the Packers show zero blitz. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Okay? It's crazy how everyone hates Nick. Hey, Jimmy, including your quarterback. Including your quarterback. Right? Right? Eagles just posted team captains. Smitty isn't one. I don't think he's really happy about being down. And I don't think him or AJ are real happy about going down to Sao Paulo. I don't think those guys are real happy. I don't blame them. Fuck am I doing playing in Brazil? Give me a break. Home game away from the link for you to have cash registers on our back? Give me a break, guy. Jordan Love got paid because playoff win, and Jalen got paid because of a Super. That's not true. Oh, wait, Jalen did get paid because of the Super Bowl appearance. It wasn't those numbers. There are two different levels between the two quarterbacks. In this defense, the Packers never played against. In his defense, the Packers never played against, right? That's correct. Packers did a great job on Dak last year. And by the way, that Packer defense got better towards the end of the year, but they lost people. They lost people in that secondary. That's why they had to go get Xavier McKinney. I understand where the 90% new came from. That's right. You know what? Sanders said this yesterday. And he said it, I think, today. He goes like this. You know, the comments about Jalen saying 95% new? Yeah. Yeah. Between the motion and blocking assignments and picking up the assignment on blocking schemes, it is 95% new. He's going to either recognize an audible more this year, which could be a good thing. Okay? That means he's changing Kellen Moore's plays. Be prepared for that. Jalen's going to change a lot of what Kellen does. Because why? He's got pass blocking responsibilities now, and pass protecting. So some of the things that Kellen calls might get 86 by Hurts himself at the line of scrimmage. Interesting. Wonder how that dynamic works. This is the MVP year we've been looking for out of Hurts. He'll outdo Lamar both as a runner and passer. Man, if you think he is a better runner than Lamar, who just won his second MVP by the time of 26 and has never thrown for over 3,900 yards in his career as well. In the other MVP year, he threw for 3,100 yards. You're out of your fucking mind. That guy's got 2 most valuable player awards. He's won 14 games twice. He's got one of the greatest win percentages in NFL history. And you think that guy will outdo him? Good luck. Good luck. Okay? Jalen may have the team. He's the player. Lamar doesn't have a team like Jalen. There's nowhere remotely close. Nowhere remotely close in talent. Receiver-wise, tight end probably. They didn't have Henry last year. He won the MVP without him. It was Zay Flowers and him. That's it. Edwards was lost in week 10. Ironically, in 2000, not last year he didn't. Not last year he did not. He did not. Get this. As a matter of fact, he's only outplayed Josh Allen 1 year of his career. Maybe. He didn't outplay him in 21. That's a fucking lie. Hurts has never outplayed Josh Allen. Maybe. And I haven't even looked it up, 2022. Maybe. I mean, get this. I love when people bring this up. And then you get beat by Drew Lock and Tyrod Taylor. He got beat by them guys too. Don't forget. And Zach Wilson. Good night. That's 1 year too many. Okay. Sills, we will learn Friday if Hurts grasps Moore's hot reads. Hurts must know he's getting blitzed. So those reads and those checkdowns will be tested early. Burn the D, and they'll play straight up. I'm just saying to you, man. Make no mistake about it. I wonder how Nick Sirianni feels today. That the quarterback is telling his coach, hey, last couple of years, man, you've done nothing to help me grow as a quarterback. Hey, do you admire that? Or do you rip him for it, or both? I'm really not sure. And you know me, I don't like to sit in the middle like some of you. Some of you guys like sitting on those hot posts. Not me. Do you rip them for coming out and saying, well, these guys completely have hurt our growth as a quarterback? Mr. International says Jalen crossed the line. Coach is still in the building, too. Yeah, they told me that, I didn't have to worry about shit. And all pass protection and blitz pickup and zero blitz reads and all that were at some handled by someone else and not me. Well, how the hell are you going to – hey, I really do have to take back if Jalen Hurts can read a defense or not. I'm going to do something here that I thought I'd never do, Xander. Hey, Jalen, I apologize. All you guys at the NovaCare Center that you can't read a defense, I have to apologize because I really don't know if you can or not. I don't know if you can or can't. I just know this. The number one tool that teaches you how to read defenses you didn't have for the 4 years you've been an Eagle, and you didn't have that responsibility? Like Carson Wentz didn't? No wonder you can't read a defense. How in the fuck can you read a defense when you know the pressure's coming from over here and you're worried about the pressure coming because guess why? Jason Kelce told you. Or you can audible out of that play, set a different pass protection, and run a check down. You understand that's why the check downs have now been added to the offense now is because that Jalen is going to be more in touch with the pass protection of identifying blitz pressure and zero blitz. This, you know why you guys are seeing a better and maybe a better version of Hurts is because Kelce's out of the equation. It's not as predictable. Kelce made it predictable. The Eagles made their offense predictable from the owner's box. And it fucked the kid over. They figured it out. They figured it out on Wentz and they figured it out on Hurts. You coached Jalen Hurts the same way you coached Carson Wentz. That's why it doesn't matter who your coaches are. They do it. You know what you got to hope for? Guys, you got to hope for this. That Hurts is exceptional at reading the blitzes and can set pass protection. Because you know why? They'll do exactly what they did to Sean Desai. They'll take that away from him right in the middle of the year. You know why? They've got a track record of panicking. Okay? Jalen's done it all his life. He's been playing ball since a kid, coached by his father, then Nick Saban. That's great. I don't care if you're coached by Newt Rockne, Abe. If you're taking skill set tools away from a player to be able to help him understand what defenses are trying to do to you, I don't care how good a quarterback you are. I don't care what kind of skill set you have. Can you imagine telling Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, hey, don't worry about pass protection. The other guys will handle it. They would tell you to go to hell. There's nothing about these offenses. You think Patrick Mahomes doesn't have complete autonomy over his offense when to check out of a play, into a play, set pass protection? This guy's you have to become an offensive coordinator on the field. How many times do you guys go like this, system quarterback? That's what you call Brock Purdy. That's what a system quarterback is. You know what a system quarterback is? He's got complete control of the system that's been given to him, and he's going to take the tools that he has on setting pass protection, identifying pre-snap reads, knowing exactly what the landmarks out there on pre-snap, and then post-snap. That's a system. Hurts is not a system quarterback. He's a half a system quarterback. They don't give him all the tools to be good. You know, for the life of me, I go, how can a guy have two 1,000-yard receivers and he can't throw for more than 3,800 yards? You know why the checkdowns aren't there? Because Kelce was in the way. You're like this, Dan, Kelce's up. That Drew Lock in the Seattle game had more responsibility in the Seattle game of a year ago than what Hurts did in his own offense. How in the world can Drew Lock have more say on an offense than Jalen Hurts? How? Jalen reached out to Wink Martindale. Why? Why do you think he did? What were we tipping off on our offense so much that made you blitz with such great success? That's what he asked him. Look at this guy. This guy thinks we're hating on Hurts. I'm hating on what you did to him. This guy's a fucking idiot here. All he hears is Jalen failing. He failed because you made him fail. This is not Hurts. This is not Hurts. Now you can bitch at him for throwing Kelce and everyone else under the bus here. Drew, look at Drew. Drew, you're like the only guy that's getting this. I'm fucking standing up for the guy. Get this. This is not saying shit every time. We now fucking understand Hurts felt the offense was never his, and why the issues were of him developing as a quarterback were because the organization held him back. Oh, my God. Dude. Hey, Mask, this is a you thing then. Get this. Wait. Professor says that I'm taking this way out of context here. Well, we have the context, Professor. Every time somebody says shit like that, you can hear it from your own quarterback's mouth.
Admits that he was told not to worry about a lot of things when it came to pass protection with Jason Kelce under center. But now with the passing of the torch to 25-year-old third-year center Cam Jurgens, Hurts will have a more important role in things like picking up the blitz. Here's Hurts on the post-Jason Kelce era.
We had a great player in Jason Kelce who took on a lot of responsibility And a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn and all of that over the years, kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different, and I'm excited for that journey.
My ability to learn and continue to evolve as a quarterback was halted. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Okay? I didn't say that, Professor. Your quarterback said his progress was halted. Hey, Marshall, you're under the impression here that I'm ripping Hurts, and I'm not. Hey, you want to rip him for tossing people under the bus? He's not lying. Okay? Xander's right. There's still an accountability problem on Hurts' end. Dude, that's a different discussion. I'm talking about development. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, dude, you got Brian Johnson fired last year. You did. They were drawing up the plays in your lack of execution. Whether you were put in a bad position, and we'll talk more about the accountability part here. But I'm saying this. The Eagles, this is their problem. Their conveyor belt of coordinators and the lack of trust with Hurts. How do you give a guy $250 million and you don't trust him? How do you do that? You gave Jalen Hurts $250 million and you didn't trust him with the simplest thing. Not a simple thing, but one of the fundamental things in helping a guy grow. Once again, that's Howie not being a football guy. Can't fucking take that dynamic away. That's taking audibling away. That's taking pre-snap recognition away. How many people are looking at the motion now going, hey, you know why motion didn't matter last year? Everyone knew the motion was stupid with the Eagles because Kelce was setting the protection. No one bought the motion. You're buying the motion now. Why? Hurts he's got the blocking assignments in his hand. He can audible out of that and check down. Why do you think that team has absolutely thrown a billion checkdowns this preseason? Because that's exactly how to get away from zero blitz. It's the first time they've actually practiced it, implemented it. Hey, get this, Dan. Coach's son didn't help him. Ownership dropped the ball. Dan. Ownership dropped the ball. They kept the cancer in the body. Why? Optics. There's two things on the Philadelphia Eagles. Actually, there's three things on the Philadelphia Eagles right now that show you exactly what the organization's all about. Bradbury still being on the team because Howie cut that deal. Anaya Smith on IR. And this. And Sirianni being on the team still. You've been trashing Hurts from the beginning. How in the world am I trashing Jalen Hurts when I'm saying that the fucking organization has stunted the kid's growth? Here, let me be more simple, Marshall. I'm actually standing up for him and his development here. It's unbelievable what you want to hear, Marshall. If you took that as me not staying, we'll talk about the accountability here in a minute. You people hear what you want to hear. It's insanity. Now I know why our country's in the shape that it's in. You'll listen to anything and buy it. If someone says it, you'll believe it. Instead of finding it out for yourself, you fucking go with the masses. You're sheep. I hate that. Oh, he said it. I heard it from him. Sills, I have no issues with Hurts speaking out. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. We all bitch that Hurts did not speak up. True. Calling out the coach or GM in public is ballsy. So Hurts better back it up. Hurts owns this offense now. Hey, Bob, you know what? I'll tell you this. 2 quarterbacks yesterday called out their bosses. Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. Dak Prescott went like this. They asked him about Jerry's comments about doing the new deal. You know what he said? I stopped listening and caring what Jerry said to the media a long time ago. Whether it's here or somewhere else, I'm going to get paid. Not worried about that right now. I'm worried about Cleveland. Perfect answer. He has no trade. You can't franchise him. Dallas Cowboys pretty much have their balls tied like a bull. He's got them by the short hairs. Whether you think Dak's good or not, he's got Jerry Jones and the Cowboys by the short hairs. Okay? He totally can't franchise him, and you can't. He has no trade. You can't do anything to the guy. And you're going to allow the guy just to walk out the building? For another team to give him $60 million. Told Jerry, I don't care if it's here or somewhere else. And I stopped listening to that guy a long time ago. And you got Jalen Hurts going like this. Finally, this year, I got the offense, and we'll be able to move forward in the growth of me becoming a better quarterback in this league. Good. Okay? Good. Sills, what is your projection of career for Hurts if he keeps coordinator Kellen by his side? Do you see progress in him as a quarterback over time? Forrest. Kellen, yes. And let me see how he handles all the responsibility for the first time in his career. He hasn't had to do anything like this for 4 years in Philly. Okay? He hasn't. Seals for president 28. No bullshit candidate. Bang! Yeah, we got guys that, bottom of the hour. Xander's going to talk about the greatness of Hurts, too. I'm sure of it in 15. Oh, no, remember, the no-holds defense. Also, Cole, Jason, national news. Last weekend of non-pro football, college football this weekend. Then we will have the Philly Godfather. He'll be on with us as he is each and every single Friday at 5:30. Absolutely, my friend. How many games will it take, Sills? We'll talk about all that when we come back out of the timeout here. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Like I tell you guys, if you're looking for a new betting house this coming year, you got to team it up with JAKIB Sports and with our friends at BetUS. Great opportunity right now. 125% bonuses on your first 3 deposits of up to $2,000. This is the home of Michael Vick. And also, how about this? 200% crypto bonuses that you can get when you make your wagers. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa for you to make those wagers. Live wagers in all major games. A lot of college football games this weekend. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Fastest payouts in the business. Like I said, go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. My boy Xander Krause from Birds 365 will be with us at the bottom of the hour. We appreciate you guys coming aboard with us as we always do. I want to do something here, guys. Hang on for a minute. Hang on for a minute here because I want to show you what we were talking about before I get to accountability stuff that we were talking just a couple minutes ago. I want to show you one thing here about what we were talking about with Vic and what the Packers are going to do and how important and how essential it is when the offense and Jalen, with his ability now to have pass protection, how important it's going to be. First, we'll do that, but then we're going to talk with Vic here. Your two safeties, your corners, and here's the line of scrimmage. Wide receivers are here. Here's your linebackers. And here's the zone. I brought this up last time to you. See the middle here? Those are your safeties. The guys on the wide, the guys here are your corners. Look at this. Here's the wide receiver. Look at this. But here's what Vic is trying to do. He wants you to play in here. See your two linebackers here? Right here and here? Well, if you can't stop the run, those linebackers have to creep up. Your zone gets bigger. Jordan Love will throw all day on it. And somebody brought up something really great earlier. You're going to surrender yards for points. That's the objective, is to surrender yards for points. I'm cool with that too. The only stat that matters at the end of the day is points against. That's the only stat that matters. Turnovers and points against. The rest of that shit, the Patriots were 8th in defense and won 4 games. It's the only thing that matters. Did you surrender point? You can't give up 26 points and think you're going to win. Okay? Here, get this. Hurts' 2020 scouting report. Slow recognition of early throw opportunities, misses checkdowns, and opts for harder throws. Well, Kellen, it's this right here has been the pretty much to this day the problem that Jalen Hurts has as a starting quarterback from the pocket. Okay? Holding on to the ball too long. He constantly misses checkdowns. He throws for the harder passes. We saw that last year. I pointed out all the time. I don't know. Maybe it was the Seattle game. He threw into double coverage for AJ, and there was Devontae wide open underneath, and he didn't take the underneath pass. Well, Kellen improved this for him. Look, I think Kellen's trying to do everything he can to help him recognize this is going to come down to, though, to where Jalen is going to throw the ball more underneath and more checkdowns than any other time in his 3 years. And I'm great with that. I'm totally great with that. Completely great. Tom Brady won Super Bowls, and so does Mahomes doing that. The big plays don't win Super Bowls. Consistency wins. Do you think there's any coincidence to that the two most successful quarterbacks get most of their yards and most of their wins off checkdowns? Did you ever think of that? I mean, right? Dude, today's linebackers, that's why I keep telling you, today's linebackers can't cover tight ends or backs out of the backfield. There's just not a lot of line. Dude, the positions that stink nowadays in the NFL, running back, linebacker position, those positions, and some to the safety spots. Here, I don't want to pay $20 million for a safety like Bates or $17.8 for Xavier McKinney. I really don't want to pay $18 million for Patrick Queen or $20 million for Roquan Smith. You ever notice that there's certain teams that will do that? But nobody does that. Look at what the Bears did. The Bears traded Roquan. Hey, tell me this. How in the world can the Bears trade away Roquan Smith and they have a better linebacking core today? Ranked as the best linebacking core in the league. How can that be? You traded the best backer in the NFL away. You know why you did that? You don't want to pay one guy $100 million. You'd rather pay three guys $100 million. And that's why they got a better room today. They got rid of the best linebacker interior in the league. And now they're better at linebacker because you know what they did? They hijacked your guy. Philly D goes like this. Bears suck. That's not the point, dickhead. That's not the point. They got better. That's not the point. It's how you build your defense and your team back up. And by the way, if the Bear fans are patient, I think Caleb Williams, I think he could put that team potentially in the playoffs. They got a nice roster, man. Okay? Got a nice roster. Hey, Bob, redo that when you did. Says, why do you have people? Why do you have people shit to you? It's crazy that people can't handle the truth. It's okay. They can talk shit to me. I don't care. Because you know why? I talk shit back to them. Just call the guy a dickhead. Okay? It's okay. Call me a dickhead. Have you ever had a bar conversation before? You can't get your panties hurt in this room. Hey, let me tell you something. Barb's got a bigger pair of cannolis than some of you in here. I say that with all due respect, Barb. Sills, those two quarterbacks also have stability at head coach. This is just as important. The constant voice in their ear working with you, unlike here where it appears they work against you. At times, absolutely. Okay? Talking shit to Sills is getting shit talked back is part of the charm of the show. Yes, it is, Alex. See, look. See Alex here? Alex, you are a spectacular sports fan and sports broadcasting fan because you get it. Thank you. Absolutely, my friend. It's totally exactly all that. Okay? If you want to talk shit to me, and be prepared because Big Sil's going to come firing back with Roman candles, Junior. JM can't take it because you know why? Well, we do have snowflakes in here that melt sometimes. You're big bad wheels. Big bad wheels. No. It's like a local sports bar is here every day. Some are sober, some are shit-faced drunk with their taste buds. Oh, even this guy too. He's a dick too, but I like him too. I don't know, Jay Brown. You know, you're a dick too, but I don't know. Maybe I like dicks. I don't think that came out right, but whatever. Sills, can you believe they asked you if Mozzie's better? Hey, Cosmo, Cowboy fans, don't bring that guy's name up. If you want to compare him against Danny Noonan, okay, but don't compare him against Jalen Carter. My God. Yeah, see? Well, I like you, don't I, Mask? Hey, Mask, don't I like you? Holy cow. Holy shit. Hang on for a minute here. Hurts will throw 23 interceptions. Hold on for a minute. I got to do something here. Mind you here. Hold on. I've got to clean the Green Eagle residue after listening to Birds 365 this morning. I've got to clean my glasses off here. Hold on here. Let me look them up here. Holy criminy. Hold on. Yeah. 15 and 2. No holes defense. Oh, wait. Before I bring Xander up, I got to get my soundbite ready here. Because now me and Xander are going to hit on accountability here with this. Because first we'll talk a little bit about what he said. But the soundbite here, let me pull this bad puppy up here. Okay, and here. I'm going to play it, then we're going to bring Xander up. Xander, come up while it's being played here.
Came to pass protection with Jason Kelce under center, but now with the passing of the torch to 25-year-old third-year center Cam Jurgens, Hurts will have a more important role in things like picking up the blitz. Here's Hurts on the post-Jason Kelce era.
We had a great player in Jason Kelce who took on a lot of responsibility, and as a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn and all of that over the years, kind of was halted because of who we had. But times are different, and I'm excited for that journey.
In the NFC,
Okay. Xander Krause from Bird 365 jumps aboard with us here.
What up, Big Sills?
Well, after getting the clip and everyone saying that, people here at JAKIB, most notably Big Sills, misrepresented Hurts's comments, and I took the stuff out of context. After you listen to that, there's two parts of this. He's not wrong.
There's actually three parts.
Okay, go ahead. Give me your takeaway on it. By the way, let me get this. Damn, Sills, no Diddy. Shut up. I should know I shouldn't have gone there with that. You guys are losers. Who's the other guy, too, that we missed another super chat? Get your minds out of the gutter, please, okay? We're trying to have a normal conversation with some of you, but some of you can't do it, all right? Oy vey.
All right, three parts in my opinion, and you hit on two of them. Well, you really hit on all three of them. But the one part is he's right. You're not going to develop when you're not, when you're not given something to work on to develop. Now, I don't think that that's a black and white thing where, okay, I'm told I wasn't doing it, so I'm not going to do any of it. The second part is is it an organizational problem? And you talked about that recently, like here on the show, where you said you pointed to the problems with the organization and their approach and how they did it with Wentz and all those things. The third problem, which I believe is the biggest problem, is the accountability of Jalen Hurts. You can talk about the organizational issues, but at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts did have an MVP caliber season in 2022.
Are you talking character?
I'm not talking character. Well, I guess you could argue it's a part of his character.
Is it accountability character?
I guess you could argue it is. I think there's been a trend, and everybody was ripping me in the chat on Birds 365 this morning because I didn't tell them what they wanted to hear. All I'm saying is, even as an objective fan, and by the way, I projected this guy to win the MVP yesterday on this show.
And 15
Don't
games.
start acting like I'm some Jalen Hurts hater.
And 15 games. Don't forget 15 games.
It was 14. Sells, get it right, Sells.
14-3.
I projected this guy to win the MVP. But when I look at the trends here, you go back to that Seattle game. You go back to the OTAs in the summer. You even go back to after they got bounced in Tampa and his press conference after that game. And then you listen to him here talk about some of the problems we've talked about with him with the reading and the defenses and the blitzes. Now he's putting it on Jason Kelce. All I'm saying is there's a trend here where Jalen Hurts skates by the accountability. We talked about it a little bit yesterday where, hey, maybe he is doing it behind the scenes. He is taking accountability, or he is doing it in his locker room. I have no way to know that. But when you go up on the podium and you say what you said, and not only do you not take accountability, but you put the accountability at someone else or something else's doorstep, now you've opened the can of worms. If you go up there and you don't say anything, right, okay, we can only speculate. But when you say what you said, now you have me questioning, is your belief that you have no accountability in this? Because even if it was Kelce, and even if that's what it wanted to be, are you telling me that you're the quarterback of the football team and you can't have a conversation with Jason Kelce or your coaching staff or your owner, and you're making $50 million and you can't say, hey, I need to learn more here, or I need to put myself in a better position to succeed in the long term? That is beyond me. That we are, as grown men, there's no conversations happening in the room. Maybe they were happening, but it doesn't seem like they were by the way he's talking about it. And I think that's a bit of a problem. I really do. I think it's not something that should be going to the radar. I don't think it's an indictment. I don't think it's we're screwed, but he's your franchise quarterback, man. It's we when we lose and it's we when we win and it's me when we lose. That's the mentality that most leaders take, whether it's football, whether it's politics, whatever it is in life, whether it's a military general, it doesn't matter. Being a leader is more than just, being the guy, being paid as the guy. Being called a leader is more than just a title. It's more than just being the quarterback of the team. It's actually owning it. It's actually doing the things that it takes to be a leader. And when you go up on the podium and you put it all over it's the new offense. Oh, I couldn't learn it with Jason. Oh, I didn't take any of the accountability in the Seattle game. You're not being the leader. You might be the leader of the team, but you're not being the leader. There's a big difference. And I think there's a problem with that. And I think anybody that views it objectively and zooms out a little bit says, yeah, I don't love that. And that's all I'm at on it. I'm not saying that I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback. I think he's going to be phenomenal. I think he's going to be way better than Sills is projecting him to be.
Completely.
But I do think that's a little bit concerning. That's all. I don't.
He's
like
never in a million years ever set pass protection for an NFL football game in his life.
Yeah, but we had a comment early in the show and you missed it. And I think JM is still.
By the way, Prince 365 is a great show, but thanks for the $5. Go ahead.
Wait, did we miss a super?
No, don't
we
worry.
Skipped out. I'm getting it because Prince is one of our best our most loyal listeners.
He's an asshole, but go ahead.
He can be an asshole, but that's what makes Prince great. That's what makes Big Sills great. He can be an asshole. So, Prince, love you, brother. Appreciate that comment. We had a comment earlier in the show that you missed, and JM, I believe JM is still in here. I hope you're in here, JM.
I hope he's not too. He's another one. Go ahead.
Well, no, he said at the start of the show, and it was a great comment, and nobody reacted to it, but I did put something back in the chat that I agreed with him. He said, you know, if you're an intern and you're told your only job is to get coffee, are you just going to get coffee and not learn about anything else? You know, and it's not the perfect comparison, but in a way you can take it. It's a microcosm of that, where you're the quarterback.
That's not how he sounded, though. He sounded like he didn't take any accountability or
That's
learned
what I'm
anything.
saying. He sounded like I didn't learn a thing because it was all on Jason Kelce.
So you think he was being spiteful because it wasn't given to him?
I don't
because
know if it was
Xander, you're
spiteful.
right. You and me are going to go like this. Well, eventually, because I heard John McMullen say this morning. John goes, well, shit, you knew this was coming this day. This day was coming. Weren't you prepared for it? Sounds to me like he went like this. You don't want me involved with the offense? You don't want me to be involved and have my opinion in the offense? Well, guess what? It's all on you guys. That's why when he said 95% new, Xander, there's the comment right there where this offense now for the first time, they asked my opinion on what I thought. That guy for the last 3 years, I don't think it's spiteful. I just think he went like this. They don't want me to be part of it. I'm not.
Yeah, but
And
it is it's not
he
spiteful.
didn't prepare
but
for it.
It's not spiteful, but it's approaching it. Because
Yes.
you look at it and you're like, if you had a disdain, and the word choice that he used was halted or halted, right? My eagerness to learn was halted. So it's almost like I wouldn't have done it that way, but that's what they wanted me to do. And now with Jason out the door, you are. By the way, let me bring up this comment here from Bob, because this is an excellent comment. Bob says the real issue with the statement is that Hurts said he has an eagerness to learn, but when he was told don't worry about it, he didn't worry about it. Hurts' growth is on Jalen Hurts, and he's spot on with that. You can't just, one of the things that, and maybe this is a faulty understanding from my point of view, but in my life, I try and be a very open person. For example, me and you, we have candid conversations at times that maybe aren't so easy to have with my woman, with my family, whatever it is. I believe approaching it with the truth and speaking about the hard things will ultimately lead you to the best place, even if it's hard to go through at the time. Is Jalen Hurts afraid? What you got paid $255
No, this comes back to your
million
accountability thing. This comes back to your accountability.
And you marched this team to the Super Bowl. And you're telling me somebody told you to not learn how to read a defense and you just said, okay? That goes back to the accountability, Bob. Right? I mean, if you're saying don't worry about it, and then he didn't worry about it, and now he's blaming it on that, there's a sense of entitlement there where he wasn't accountable for wanting to learn that just because he did as he was told.
Jalen can't handle failure. He's not very good at it.
Look, it is
not.
At the end of the day, it wasn't even a press conference. It was on WIP on their fan fest. This is like a big fundraiser. This is supposed to be glazing the Eagles all day.
But that's what makes it even more weird is that it wasn't a press
It was
interview.
a weird choice of words.
And a weird setting.
And if you
At
listen
a telethon?
if you listen to the clip, the one thing I like about Jalen Hurts, I've listened to it enough. Please, Sills. Good Lord, you've played it 42 times on the show.
Well, that's what happens when people start when they stop misrepresenting what I'm saying.
Jalen is a calculated person, and I like that about him. And he means what he says, and he says what he means. At least for the most part, that's what it seems. You have those memes that go around all the time from the NFL, the Jalen Hurts-isms or whatever they are, and flush it. And some of the other stuff he said, like, he's very intentional about what he says. So for him to say that, and it's not like he was speaking quick, like he was slow and calculated in that delivery, and he said that, and I'm just like, he said that for a reason. And I do think there might be an underlying problem there with him not seeing himself as the problem in any of this. And maybe he's not the problem, but it goes back to what I said about someone calling you a leader and then being a leader. It's different. Being a leader is different than being called a leader or being anointed a leader from a contract or just because you're the quarterback of the team. Being a leader is different than calling yourself a leader or being looked at as the leader. Actually embodying what that means having a sense of accountability in everything. If you're the true leader of the team, you could argue it would make sense, and it's obviously wouldn't fall on his doorstep. He would take fall for the defense. He's not even a defensive player, but that's what being a leader of men is.
Listen to Mahomes.
Right? It's your team. It's your team. At the end of the day, everything comes to your doorstep, whether it is on you or not. And I think him skating by that is a little bit of an issue. Hopefully it's not a big issue. I think it's something we can get by.
And the Philly media not pressing him on it too. I mean, you need to ask him that question, because here's what I would also say to you, Xander. If you're Nick Sirianni in the locker room now, and you heard that bite that's going around nationally now, and you heard that your quarterback development was stunted because of the lack of not being able to learn one of the major keys on reading defenses was picking up blitz pressure, and your development was stunted and you didn't have to worry about any of that, isn't that an indictment also on the coaching staff and organization itself? And you still got the same guy in the locker room. If you're Nick Sirianni, how do you feel about your quarterback on August 30th, a week out from going to Brazil and playing a game about the Packers, having a comment that really has no place to be said right now as you're preparing for a new 2024 season? How many times do you and me get accused of this, Xander? Hey, that's old news. Okay, well, Jalen, isn't this old fucking news? You were at a press conference the other day going, what's the Wink Martindale? Where's this coming from? He didn't like the question. He questioned the reporter for asking him. Remember the reporter, what he said? Well, I'm trying to get context. That's what we're doing here. It's context.
Well,
okay.
And the other part of it is it continues to tie in. And this is why I said, to me, it's the biggest thing is the accountability. Even if it was Nick Sirianni's fault, even if you despise Nick Sirianni, whatever the case may be, as the leader of the team, you're supposed to fall on that sword to some extent. And the fact that this is not the first time this summer, Sills, that he has made Nick Sirianni look bad in the media.
Oh, 4 or 5 times.
And I'm not even here to back up Nick Sirianni. No. I'm not a big Nick Sirianni guy, but your quarterback should fall on that sword, not continuously stab it into Nick. Whether Nick's at fault or not.
Can I give you where I think this is coming from? His relationship with the owner and the general manager is so strong now that he knows that Nick is incidental. That he knows, because anytime he talks, Mr. Laurie, Howie, he even goes to Musmeyer. He talks about the quarterback coach, and then he goes to Nick. Then he goes to Ellen and then Nick, and he's really tight. So, hey, listen, I don't really have to care about Nick's feelings anymore, because you know why? The owner has given me, remember what the owner said too in the offseason? I want Hurts to be more Jalen Hurts this coming year. Those were out of Jeffrey Lurie's mouth too. Was he telling him to be more forceful and more of a leader because Kelce was leaving, that this was going to be more of an opportunity for him? Because I'll tell you what, like you said, I've never seen a head coach shit on more by a quarterback in my entire life than what Hurts has done in this offseason here. He has at least shit on him 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And
like you said, whether you like Nick or not,
yes, you're right.
I don't know how that's helping going into 24 next Friday.
You're
how
spot
can you
on.
be an MVP when you still got the cancer? According to Jalen, you still got the cancer in the body.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with you 100% on this. Senor says Nick falls on the sword all the time. What has that done for Nick, Xander? Well, it's done nothing because he doesn't.
His job.
It
kept his job.
It did, but the other thing it does is he's falling on the sword because he's trying to be the leader, and when you don't have a guy who's in your foxhole, it makes Nick look a whole lot worse. If Jalen Hurts went to the podium and addressed things, not in the same way that Nick does, but from an accountability standpoint, we wouldn't be talking about any of this. We wouldn't, because Jalen has Nick's back and Nick has Jalen's back, and that's what makes it work. When Nick has your back and you throw Nick under the bus, you're damn right, senor. It's made Nick look like a dweeb.
Yep.
But that's not on Nick.
It's on Jalen.
It's on Jalen, who's not backed him up ever.
Has allowed him to burn.
Leadership.
Has allowed him to burn.
I agree. I agree.
Here's something else. Let me ask you this. You know, the big go-to has always been, hey, get this, man. So, Brian Johnson sucked as a coordinator. Brian Johnson never had a chance, Xander. Here's why. Check it out. Jason Kelce was in charge of the pass protection. Nick was influencing the offense when it came to play calling. How does Brian Johnson become an offensive coordinator when you have so many other voices when it comes to preparing a game plan? That the offensive coordinator had no shot of success when you have two other guys influencing the game plan. He has no influence of game planning when it comes, because guess why? Stoutland and Kelce were handling the pass protection. How do you know what play? Look at this too. When Jalen Hurts comes to the line of scrimmage, and Jason Kelce sends the pass protection, you know what Jalen hears? He thinks it's coming from the strong safety on this side. Hurts might see something completely different. When you snap the ball, all of a sudden, where the pressure's coming from is not where it's hitting. It hits him. He can't audible out. You know why he never audibled? You know why there was never a short passing game? Because Kelce had complete control of the pass protection. He couldn't audible out of it because you can't audible out of it. Why? Jason set the pass protection. It really hampered him, dude.
No, you're right. You're spot on with this, right, Sills? That's the one part of
I'm actually defending Jalen Hurts today.
I think you're right on it too. I mean, look, I think that's why we separated this in the beginning of this conversation, because more than one things can be talked about and be true right here. I don't love the accountability I'm seeing from Jalen Hurts. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. But what you're saying does add up. That is a problem, and that does hinder a quarterback's growth. I think there should be a different process to approach that problem other than, waiting for Jason to retire. But, I don't know. I guess they're going to do what they're going to do at this point.
Do you get this? Remember, I pointed out to you, and we went over what Devontae and what AJ said yesterday. Remember what those two guys said about the offense, 23, what it's going to look like? Both receivers were like this. Well, that's practice. Let's see how this thing looks in a game. He was asked, he goes, I'll let you know in a couple weeks. These two guys, do you think they believe that this thing is going to go? Because when I heard those two players, it was more of a reserve wait and see how this offense was going to be something that was going to move forward. Because, again, Xander, Jalen Hurts in his entire 5-year NFL career, I know it was short in the first year when he first got here. It was later in the year he took reps, Atlanta, New Orleans. I got all that. But what I'm saying, 5 years in, he's never set a pass protection in his entire NFL career. Never. That's a new thing added to the plate. And I got to wonder, again, if those two guys on the outside are going like this, can he do it? He's never done it. Hey, I can't sit here.
I'll tell you what, boy.
30th. I can't sit here on August 30th and go, he won't do it.
But I can
sit here on August 30th going, I've never seen him do it.
I'll tell you what, Sills. One of our first interviews together, when I first started doing content on air, people think I'm new. I've been on this channel. I started this channel. I've been on behind the scenes for 3 years. When I first started doing content, which was about 4 or 5 months ago, probably now, I said to you, this is a sink or swim year for Jalen Hurts. And this has become more and more and more true because now Jalen has made his bed. And he's going to have to lay in it. Now, if he answers the bell, if he answers the call and has a big year,
all over.
It's all over. Jalen gets credit. Jalen, it's an amazing work. All good.
And then there will be more institutional. Then there'll be more institutional and more managerial criticism that they held him back even more for 3 years.
If this thing works, though, he's going to get the
credit.
If
he throws for 4,600 yards this year and 38 touchdowns, I'm going to kill that organization for stunting its growth.
Yes, and you'd be right to do so. But look, he did have an MVP caliber year in 22. You can't, part of it was when you're an organization, you play into what you have. So, it's almost like a what came first, the chicken or the egg. If Jalen was struggling in his first couple years, like every single quarterback ever does when they first come into the NFL, this isn't a knock on Jalen. They go to the RPO. They accentuate his talent and his athleticism. They use his legs a little bit more. They created that offense maybe partly because they were working their young quarterback into the game. So you could argue they hindered it maybe last year, but I wouldn't say overall they hindered it. That's why I think it's an accountability thing. At the end of the day, the organization is going to play around your strengths. If you never make your strengths being another type of player, they're going to continue to put you in what they have you in. If you never show that you can read the defense or call out the protections, they're never going to put that on your plate.
You bring the point up, though, about 22, and RPO doesn't have to set pass protection. Jalen,
they removed it from the game.
They removed it from the game plan. They removed that decision making, basically, even from Jason Kelce.
And I don't think that's a knock on the organization. That's where I'd push back. Like if Hurts does blow up this year,
that's why Shane knew the right offense for him.
Well, I do think that was an offense that didn't need to be forever for Jalen. So it's almost a switch of like evolving into that next quarterback. And that's why I've talked about why I love Jalen Hurts, or not Jalen Hurts, why I love Kellen Moore so much, because it pushes Jalen to be into that pro style offense, into that next phase of his quarterbacking career, which I've never had a problem with. Most quarterbacks take time to learn the NFL. It's not uncommon. This isn't even a knock on the guy's play. I'm more knocking the way he's dismissed it all and put it at the doorstep of the coach.
You got a bigger problem
of Kelce.
You got a bigger problem with the accountability more so than how he's been coached.
Well, because I believe that leads to bigger problems that you don't want.
So you can't ever see all of it.
Exactly. If you can't ever see anything as something you should do differently, you're basically beholden to what everybody around you does. That's not what leaders do. Leaders don't let the people around them make the moves. Sometimes leaders have to do unpopular things. Sometimes you have to put yourself and put your people, your teammates first, and go through those hard things to get to the promised land, to get to where you want to get to. If you don't have any of that, this is just going to be a rotating wheel forever. It's Brian Johnson this year. It's Nick Sirianni next year. It'll be the new coordinator. It'll be Doug Nussmeier. It'll be Kelly. It'll be everybody else. You know, you're not addressing the root problem. And that's where I don't like the accountability part of it, because I look, you know, I think that has bad implications when you're the leader of a football team. If you told me this was AJ Brown, I'd say, who gives a shit? Go get me 1,600 yards and make the catch when I need you to make the catch. You're the quarterback. You're the leader. You're the highest paid guy. There's a different burden on your shoulders than everybody else's shoulders. If you got no accountability in that role, it's not going to work forever. It's just not. That's a tough realization for people, but that's a fact.
Here's one question then you ask yourself this year. Since the organization has showed a propensity not to have patience, what if he's struggling in the first month of the season picking up blitzes? Do you think they revamp that and go Landon and Cam? Could they take it back over again? They're not going to let this season sink or swim like they did last year.
Yeah, but
they're just not going to. Will they have the patience to allow him? Because I got to tell you, Xander, picking that up, Brady struggled. How many times you see Brady go back on his back with internal pressure because he didn't identify the proper blitz package? Brady had problems with that all the way to his 25th year.
No doubt.
How is he not going to have issues with it? Will they have the patience to stay with him?
I think they will, and here's why. Because I believe that, in a way, you're correct about Hurts and the front office. I think his relationship with Howie and Jeff is more important than their relationship with Nick. And I think the organization, rightfully so, because he's being paid the most, is valued Jalen above that. So, in a way, they've already created their scapegoat if it doesn't work this year. This is a win-win for Jalen Hurts. You could fail and you're good. You can win and you're good. That's what's been created. And that's what I don't like about it.
That's why those comments now make sense. That get this. Hey, you know, our relationship has been, he's basically making Nick Sirianni the scapegoat if this fails.
Exactly. He's already set it up like that. And that's not what leaders do. I'm sorry. It's just not. That's when you're a leader, you win. You win when your team wins, and when your team loses, you lose. And he's not acting like that at all.
Are you disappointed? Are you disappointed?
I'm somewhat disappointed. I'm more disappointed in this comment than some of the other comments, because some of the other ones I think you could write off as maybe a heat of the moment.
Does he involve Jason?
It was more than that, though. You know, it was the whole sentence of, my eagerness to learn was hindered
Previous
by
time.
everybody but me.
And the
Like,
previous comments adding up.
It just puts it all on everybody else's doorstep. There was no expectation for me to learn, so why would I learn? You know, what kind of mentality is that? I don't think that's a good mentality. Like I said, this isn't, maybe it sounds now like I'm
No.
over the top negative about the guy.
No,
I'm not. This is just a segment, so we're talking
You're
about
picking,
it. But
wait a minute. You're picking a fragment of what this guy went through when chips were down. Listen, Jalen Hurts is going to be, he's going to have to figure out how to be a problem solver when things are not going well. To me, you know what you're talking about? You're talking about a guy like Jalen Hurts, and he's a front runner. That's how you talk about front runners, that everything's going great. Everything is great. When something goes sideways, it's everyone else's fault.
it's everyone
Those
else.
are those are front runners.
It's all about, look, and people get upset.
That's
when we talk-
immaturity.
I agree. Well, you know, I'm not going to say Jalen's immature. I don't know him, so I'm not.
Well,
gonna
that's
make
an
that type of
immature
comment.
comment.
It's an immature comment for sure, and it was a bad choice of words. And it all comes back to, you know, this is why I said I care most about the accountability, because when you're a leader, that's what matters. And he's not acting like a leader of men. He's not. He's acting like the leader of Jalen Hurts, not the leader of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Remember, Phil said this: you have to learn how to play with your contract.
Yeah, but it's bigger than that. You got to learn how to
Not
lead.
to him, it ain't.
You got to learn how to lead grown men that aren't motivated by all the things that young kids are motivated by. These are grown men making millions of dollars that go home to wives, kids, families, their own personal lives. Motivating those men and being the leader of those men requires you to be exceptional, requires you to be accountable, requires you to understand the magnitude of that position. And I think, by the way, if I'm in that locker room and I hear Jalen say that, I'm like, shit, it's Nick today. It could be me tomorrow. You know, what's he going to do if I mess up? What's he going to do if something else goes wrong? Is he going to be the leader of the team, or is he just going to throw me out on the scrap heap and feed me to the wolves?
Do you think Jalen Hurts stabbed Nick in the back?
I think he's done it several times this offseason, man.
How many times
have we done a show though where we've talked about this?
You think one of the reasons publicly and because of the media and all that, one of the reasons that we have a negative thought process of Sirianni is because of how the media is covering Jalen and not holding him accountable and putting the blame on Nick, when we all know that the front office we just heard it now. The front office on developing the quarterback. That's a front office decision. That's not a Nick Sirianni. Because get this, they developed Carson Wentz the same way.
Yeah, you're right.
This is not a Nick thing.
In a weird way, Sills, it's making me respect Nick a little bit more.
I got it.
Every time that guy gets up there, and I have my problems with Nick. Believe me, you can.
I called him a liar after Seattle, but he was on the sword for his guys.
I've thought of every problem with Nick, but the more you go and listen to Nick, it's all on him. He takes everything, and sometimes he does it, and it really hurts him. It makes people in Philly act like he's a head case and a crappy coach and a Jerry High School or whatever, or a Nicky High School, whatever you want to call it. And that's what leaders do. Sometimes you fall on the sword for the betterment of your people, for your team.
Do you think he was throwing a subtle jab at Jalen Hurts this offseason when he kept going like this? Accountability, right? We have everybody in the building that has to have accountability. Everyone this has been the offseason of accountability.
That's stamped all over their practice facilities, accountability.
Do you think, again, so wait a minute, he's got a mantra and he's got boards up, like this guy is talking like Bo Schembechler with all these boards up about accountability, and the one player in the building who doesn't take accountability is the quarterback? That's a conflict between those two. Those two guys haven't ironed this out.
No doubt. And the unfortunate reality for Nick is, which, is a different topic, but he's going to be the one scapegoated, not Jalen Hurts. My man, Mr. International.
If that guy gets to an NFC title game and they lose, they're not firing him.
They're not firing Nick. But if they don't succeed or get to that point, If it does look ugly, if there is a breakdown in the middle of the year, if any of the problems that could happen, Nick's the guy who's going to be gone, not Jalen Hurts.
How about this here? How about if they have a really good year, they trip up in the second round of the divisional game, and they get knocked out in the divisional game, and Hurts has a decent season, and all of a sudden Moore's getting interviewed.
Well, Hurts is going to have a decent season because Hurts is a good player. Hurts is a talented football player.
Okay, that's a great – wait, whoa. So wait a minute. You think there's more of a sample size of Jalen Hurts playing well, or do you think there's more of a sample size of Jalen Hurts playing average?
Well, I think it's a progression of who he's been as a professional.
No. There's a two-sided question here. Do you think that Jalen Hurts has more of a sample size of good football played, excellent football played, or average football played?
Well, he's 34-17 in the league.
I'm asking you, that's a team comment. I'm asking you, do you think there's more of a sample size of him playing excellent ball or average ball?
Well, I think it's pretty close to even. Right? I mean, 22.
He's at 3 years starting.
22 is an MVP. First half of his first year starting, he struggled. Whole team struggled, but he struggled. Second half of that year, he led us into the playoffs after starting 2-5. Solid year, solid progression, and then he goes into 22 and catapults into the MVP race. That is a year and a half period of growth as a player. Okay. Then he starts last year 10-1. That's pretty solid play. Now, he wasn't his best, but he wasn't bad, and then the end of the year he collapsed. So you have the end of last year, you have the beginning of that first year starting. It's close. I mean, I think
so you would say he's played really well and he's played really average.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been bad. I mean, he's a
say bad.
He's a talented player, though.
I didn't say
so
bad.
To your point, though, about
if he plays really good this year, player.
He's gonna play good, man. He's gonna play good enough.
Kirk Cousins is a solid player.
Yeah, I think Kirk Cousins is underrated. I'm waiting to do our list of underrated QBs.
Hey,
he's gonna be on mine.
Absolutely, he would be. He would be on that list. You talk about a guy, and I keep saying this. That guy's the. If you have, how about this one, Xander? Has Washington had a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins since he was in Washington?
No way. Not even close.
Right. Let's get rid of Kurt. And I'm like, how you been since he was there?
Yeah, not good.
Hey, man. Great stuff. So, okay, got a week out. What do you make of the players not wanting to go and playing in Brazil? Hey, did you hear Devontae? No comment.
No
and then
comment.
CJ just posted on his Twitter. He goes, this place is safe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't really understand this one as much. Like the other ones I get where it's like London and Europe and all that stuff where it's like you want to expand the league. You need the cash registers to go on the Euro stage and on the worldwide stage. I don't really get why we're going to Brazil, and
they're not wearing any green. They got black helmets.
It's kind of a weird setup. I don't know if the NFL fully thought this one through, but here we are. It's going to happen. I'm not going. Johnny Mac's not going. You're not going. So all of my people are going to be good. We'll be covering the game extensively. And other than that, I'm just here to analyze. It's a business day.
Look at what they did, though. No green helmets, no green jerseys, and black pants and a black helmet.
I'm not overly a fan of the and people are not going to like this. I don't love the black. You
don't like the alternate jerseys?
I just don't love the black pants with the black helmet. It just doesn't remind me of Eagles at all.
Do you like the white helmet? Do you like the white helmet?
We haven't used the white in how long? I mean,
the white and the green and the green feathers. Do you like that helmet?
That's a dope helmet. We haven't used that in long. I don't know if we ever used that. Did we? Even back in the heyday, they used it back in the gangrene era.
If they ever used it with Jerome's teams and Buddy's teams. I can't.
The black is trash, man. We're Philly. We're Eagles, man. We're not black. We're not a black team. Come on, Flexen. We're a black.
I like that white helmet, though. I'd like to see the Eagles.
But that white is different. I'm talking about the black helmet. I like green. So I like the white with the green or the green. I like Kelly green. I'm really a Kelly green guy. I'd prefer them go to completely back to Kelly green on their full uniforms, but they're not going to do that with the owner. So
Canes 28, Gators 20.
All right, I'll give you that. I was coming at you yesterday with the Gators, or with the Canes, just because I was trying to get under your skin a little bit. But I think that's going to be a good game. I'm excited for that game. I'll be tuned in for it tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern. Sills. 12:30 your
A&M,
time.
Notre Dame should be good. Clemson, Georgia should be decent.
Yeah, Clemson, Georgia should be pretty good. I don't know. We'll see what Clemson's going to be this year.
Did you watch any of that Colorado game last night?
I didn't, but I went back and caught some of the highlights. That dude, Travis Hunter, boy.
He's the best player in the country. Best player in the country.
What a player with that. What a player that guy is, man. You know.
Great,
I think he should definitely go into the league though as a wideout. Go make that money, Travis.
Dude, I don't know, man. That guy is a great cover corner too. You know, he was supposed to go to Florida State. Then they talked him out of it, and he went to Jackson State. Now he's on that shitty Colorado team that won't win more than 5 ball games this year. Shador, I mean, he's talking about national champions because you beat a Division Division 2 team, an FBS team. Come on, man. That team is terrible. Look at all
the snowflakes in the chat. So upset with me for not liking a black jersey. Oh, that upset your feelings, everybody, that I don't like the black jersey. Come on, everybody. Oh, my Lord.
It's like talking about, hey, God forbid you say anything negative about your golden goose, Jalen Hurts, man. I mean, holy shit, you pointed out something that you thought he was being a dick at. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Absolutely. Xander, you doing anything over the weekend? I know we're going to maybe have a couple hits on Monday.
Yeah, so Monday will be no full show. So there's going to be no 2 to 6 National Football Show, no 8 to 10 Birds 365. I'm going to try and do like a 30-minute spot with John and maybe a 30-minute spot with you, just because it's game week. I want to kind of ramp everybody up. But other than that, we're going to be off. I hope everybody has a phenomenal Labor Day, whatever your plans are, gearing up for the football season. I hope you guys get some time with some family or whatever it is. But I'm going to be enjoying, that day a little bit, and I'm ready. So 7 days out, baby. I'm ready for this season.
You bet, man. Hey, don't worry about senior football. You and your jailbait segment, it's all good, my friend.
I'm with you, Yale. Yale, I'm with you. As long as they win, I could give a shit about the uniforms. I'm with you, Yale.
Hit the like button, my friends. Don't forget to catch us a little bit on Monday and have yourselves a great weekend. Great stuff with you and John as we get ready. How about this, Xander?
Oh, Flex. Behave, Flex. Flex,
hey,
come on, man.
Next Friday, dog, football. Actually, Thursday.
Yeah.
It's
that Thursday game.
Chiefs.
That Thursday game is going to be electric, Sills. Electric.
Hey, before you go, I wrote these games down here. Check it out. Tell me if you agree. The top games for week 1 next week. I've got Baltimore, Kansas City 1. I've got Green Bay, Philly 2. I've got the Jets in San Francisco on Monday night 3. I got Dallas, Cleveland on Sunday 4. And I've got the Rams in Detroit on Sunday 5.
Ooh, those are a good 5, boy. That's San Francisco, New York. Is that the Monday night game?
Yes, it's in San Fran too. And you might not have Trent Williams there.
Ooh.
You imagine if Rodgers pulls that off on the road. He went to Cal.
I would love to see Rodgers beat the whining 49ers. Is Nad in here? Nad, how does it feel that you're going to start 0-1, my friend? Nad, there he is. How's it feel, Nad? You're starting 0-1, my friend.
Well, you're starting 0-2, so it's all good.
Oh yeah, now the lowly Atlanta Falcons are going to beat the Philadelphia
Dude,
Eagles.
the lowly Hawks beat you a year ago. Come on, Junior.
Any given Sunday, baby. New year, I think Eagles win that game.
Should be awesome. Xander, great stuff, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Sills. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Hit that like button. Appreciate all you guys.
You guys are awesome, man. Please hit that like button. Xander and John, don't forget, Birds 365 on Tuesday, full show. We'll do something short on Monday. We appreciate it, guys. Hit that like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show, and I guess your radio station in Philadelphia is trying to trash Big Sales, WIP. I really don't know who does your afternoons, nor do I care, because the last time I tuned into that hunk of shit, I thought I was at like a psychiatrist's couch, listening to a guy tell me about, are you all right, AJ? Are you all right? Is everything okay? I give you a lot of credit for being here. Talk about women. I mean, so I guess they're talking about the soundbite that everybody around the country's playing and what we just talked about with Jalen Hurts. And like, I think we dissected it pretty well. So the afternoon guys are going like this. The Sileo guy's making more of it than it is. And I was just texted this. That's because you're a mouthpiece for the Eagles. The Eagles told you not to question this any longer. This is why this is the only place. Get this. Hey, Twiz, whether they acknowledge me or not, I don't give a fuck about WIP. WIP knows who I am. If Angelo knows who I am, they know who I am. I worked at Odyssey too. And I was considered one of the top guys in the country when I was on the radio. Odyssey celebrated me, actually, as being one of the top 35 hosts in the country, along with Angelo. Would you like to see it? Because I always carry receipts, Twiz. Okay? So if you want to see it, I'll show it to you. Got everything on my phone for all you guys. Anyway, so they know who I am. That's why they don't allow any of their hosts to come on this program. Because you guys are now coming here and they're calling into the stations going, Sileo's making more of this. Okay? Okay? They are. And so I'm totally, I think it is a big deal. I do. I think it is. Hold on here. I love when I love when Senor does that. Okay? I just love it when he does that. Really cool. So that doesn't here. Leading the sports conversation in America. Let me bring this up for you. Congratulations to top 35 local shows in America. Those are some of the top 35 shows in America. And just to show you here, Angelo Cataldi, WIP Morning Show. Dan Sileo. Who else? John Marks and Ike Reese. That's Odyssey. Celebrating Big Sills as one of the top shows in the country. What, do you think I made that up? Do you think I made that up? Senor? Come on, Senor. Come on, Senor. This is in the country. In the country. I had one of the top radio shows in America. In America. How you doing? And so these two tools are over there talking about Big Sills. If you got no haters, you ain't popping. How you doing? Hey, Senor. He goes like this. What year was that? 2022 or 2020? I've been out of radio since. You know why? Because I can't do shows like this anymore. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, free advertisement. Absolutely. WIP's giving me shit right now, Xander, because I'm making more of this. And WIP has been told by the Eagles to kind of calm this thing down because we don't want Nick and him to be at odds going into next Friday. Then why would you let your quarterback say that shit? You know why? Because he doesn't have any respect. Because he doesn't have any respect. Look at that, Senor. This is one of the first ones I won. Top local shows in America. Fuck. Come on, Senor. Who do you think you're in here with, Junior? What do you think? You're in here with Mark Holmes? I've had one of the top shows in the country for 20 years. How you doing? How you doing? Okay? Those views that help you out are the same people you try to shit on. Ain't funny. Mamba, kiss my ass. I'm not sitting here trying to make you feel better about yourself so you could click on me. I want you and me to go back and forth in conversation. Man, if you think that I'm going to sit here and drop to my knees and kiss your ass because you want me to have you like me, that be not what I'm talking about, Junior. All right? How you doing? Josh Allen is your daddy. Love me some Josh Allen. Never heard of it. That's because you don't know shit about radio, Senor, and you don't know shit about broadcasting. Crazy? Oh, yeah. Hey. WIP's not an AM station. I was on an FM. And that's when I was in Boston. How you doing? So WIP, Big Joe, is trashing JAKIB and Big Sills right now because I'm going knee deep into this. Hey, you know what? I am going to bring this up, a topic here. Before we got Jason Cole coming up too, by the way, bottom of the hour. Okay, and we will talk national stuff as we get ready for next week. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Sills, this type of newer live stream, uncensored sports talk where U.S. knuckleheads can feel like part of the show is amazing. It's actually addicting and hard to go back. Hey, MSIP, I would never right now go back to terrestrial radio as long as I live. I wouldn't say that last year. I would never do that ever again. Sills a small fry in the radio game? Not true. Not true. According to Odyssey. Not true. Did it for 28 years. How you doing? Oh, man. Better ask Cole about Trent Williams. We will. I think they got to get him on the field. This show is Howard Stern before he went woke. It's actually a compliment. Howard forgot he used to do things like this, Forrest. He used to go like this. Hello, is this Air Canada? Is this Air Florida? Yeah, this is Howard Stern. I'd like to make a reservation for the 5th Street Bridge. Sir, there was just an airplane crash that hit the 5th Street Bridge in Washington, D.C. It was Air Florida. No shit. He did that on the air. You're sitting there going, not really cool. Not really cool. I used to sit in my car listening to Howard when he got Bernhard Goetz because he's going around shooting people on the New York City subways. You're like, okay, I don't know, man. Wow. Yeah, that show that Stern does now, he's just stealing it. Cool for him. You know how many people steal money now in broadcasting? Oh, wow. Listen to WIP or 97.5. Those guys steal money. That's why they don't pay him anymore. Joe Kraus knows this. Those jobs that they pay now, they don't pay $1 million or $600,000 like they did back in my time. Angelo made $2.5 million a year being a morning show host. There's not a morning host on WIP right now, probably making over $300,000. In Philly, taxes $150, standard of living. I hope your old lady works. Sills, thoughts on Smitty not being named team captain? I don't think he gives a shit about that. We must end censorship. I'm being throttled, and I'm sure JAKIB is too. Love free speech. Look at Philly 500, man, in the pits with Big Sills. We're proud to be in there with you, Philly. Thank you for the contribution to the show and to your impact on the show. Absolutely getting throttled. I'm sure the Eagles are kicking your ass. You know why, Philly? Because you say things and you own your own boat. People don't like you when you own your own boat in broadcasting because that means you have freedom. Okay? That means you have freedom. Missinelli, he ain't getting paid. They're giving him gift cards. Shit, the only person that's ever paid him is Joe. Okay, let me punch up, right, Joe? Punch up. Hey, Big Sills, please, can you tell Xander to unblock my YouTube account? I can't do that, dude. I don't know, man. Xander, you must have pissed him off. Who's this guy? Never heard of him. This is my guy here, though, man. This is my guy. Hey, Philly, you know why they got a problem? They got a problem because we're calling Hurts out. Sills, I think Roseman demands player personnel job or he'll leave and Laurie needs him for contracts. Here, and think about that too, Sam. As much as Xander and all the rest of the guys keep telling you how good they are on defense, not one of their first-round draft choices is starting. Now, Quinion may start in the slot, but he's not starting at his natural position. The 49ers drafted and have 4 guys that they drafted that are starting. 4. 4 guys. Quignon's not starting at corner, Tony. He's not starting at corner. He's starting in the slot. I'm sure the Eagles I'm sure. Yeah, no, hey. Philly. They call my boss all the time. All the time. By the way, we've been playing that soundbite. Hey, Philly, let me ask you. Did they get on your ass about that soundbite? Was that what it was about? See, the ESPN, as long as you're taking it off ESPN, you can play that soundbite. Was it that soundbite from this morning on Get Up? Because you can play that soundbite. Oh, that's because Eagles have called him on you. Okay. I got YouTube after me. Oh, okay. Look at JM. Don't play it again. I don't want to hear my guy embarrassed. Don't play it again. No, I have issues with YouTube. Yeah, well, don't be so sure the Eagles didn't call him in on it, or WIP didn't. Okay? That's how that usually works, because that soundbite has been going around the country, and everybody's using it. Good for you, brother. Keep up the fight, man. They're throttling me, and they admit it. Wow. There's a guy doing it right. Good for him. I knew he was good. I knew he was good. Hey, thank you, Mom, but that's pretty cool of you to say that, man. By the way, I asked Sandra this question. I asked Sandra this, and I'm going to ask Philly 500. By the way, Jason Cole's going to join us in a minute here. We'll talk national football. A lot of stories going around the NFL. Our resident Hall of Fame voter. By the way, please try to be nice to Jason, because you know why? He wants Eric Allen in the Hall of Fame. Okay? He wants him in the Hall. Okay? He wants him. He's trying to do a lot of things to get him in there. So is Jared Bell. Okay? Let me ask you. I asked Xander this. Is there a bigger sample size of average play of Jalen Hurts versus great play? I say there's more of a sample size of average play. Good play, not horrible. Good. Not spectacular. And if you go like this even, well, it's 50-50. So sometimes he's great and sometimes he's not. That's not an elite quarterback. That's not an elite player. Is there more of a sample size of average play from Jalen Hurts than there is great play? Hey, I'm awake or you. Kiss my ass. 20 and 23, 21 and 23 are the norm. I didn't think he was great in 21. I thought he was average to below average. 22 was an outlier. That's my point. You've only got really 1 year of that guy being great. And for the record, you're going to go, well, Sills, he was good for about 10 games last year. Kind of. I wouldn't say he was exceptional. Philly 500 says, yeah, I was thinking 50-50. Okay, well, get this. So half the time he plays average, and the other half he plays great. And he hasn't played great in a year and a half. Is that fair? He hasn't played great in a year and a half. Right? Mr. Sileo, don't do that. Don't call me Mr. Please. Big Sills. Appreciate your opinions. Do a better job of being open-minded about other opinions. Keep up the great work. Tyler, that's the worst advice you could ever give a sports talk host, is have an open-minded opinion on others and what they think. My opinions are with conviction. I don't sit on the side of a fence. I have an opinion. And when I have my opinion, I'm always prepared to have it challenged. That's what makes sports talk. You don't come here because I waffle an opinion. Well, maybe this guy, and maybe he's this. No, maybe he's that. Nobody listens to that shit. Okay? You don't have that kind of conversation with your old lady. You don't have conversations like that with anybody in your family. Why would you have it here? Well, maybe if we do this or maybe if we do that. Sills, I do think Hurts has been banged up past few years. And it's hampered him. Okay, maybe. Boy, I'll tell you something here. I'm going to start the conversation off, not with Eagle talk here, but I got to do this to Jason. Jason Cole and I are probably on the complete different end of the spectrum politically, but I got a feeling we're going to be on page with this one here. How the NFL turns used to be a soap opera back in the day. Okay? So now guess who was named team captain for the Cleveland Browns? Deshaun Watson. Team captain. Hey, you go from being a guy who was accused of 25 sexual assaults, allegedly, to having, now you're the team captain for the Cleveland Browns. Only in the NFL can that magic happen.
Well, if you think that the Cleveland's part of the NFL, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Locker rooms, and most guys, frankly, don't care.
No.
The ones who do care don't say anything.
Can I tell you what being a captain means? Okay, to me, shit, that means I got to go out early. I want to stay in the locker room, and I want to lay down and get myself ready. That means I have to be out there 15 minutes prior to kickoff. I don't want to do it.
It's still somewhat symbolic, and it should mean more. It should mean enough that a guy with that record shouldn't be the guy you hold up as a symbol of leadership and captaincy. Okay, I have no problem with Deshaun Watson playing again. He settled these, all those things. But here's the thing. He put all of that stuff ahead of playing football.
Yeah.
So I always come back to, this guy's super talent. He had his moment. Hopefully he gets back to that, all those kinds of things. But I always look at, what do you prioritize in your football career? And in this case, that guy put a priority on being a scumbag. Not necessarily completely illegal. All those things, that's a different thing. But he knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew. There's no question about it. He knew, and he did it anyways. That's not a captain in my eyes, and it's not a guy that you should parade around the city as a captain of your football team. And my last point is, biggest problems for Deshaun Watson. I know he's legitimately been, but I think that he never wanted to be in Cleveland anyways. He wanted to be in Atlanta. But they
extorted him. They gave him $230 million to go there, guaranteed.
They bought him, and he bought them. And sometimes you have to look at yourself and go, is the money really worth that over the happiness I want to have in the place that I really want to be? Is that really worth it? And we'll see. But Whatever. Moving on.
Here we go. I want to play you a soundbite that was on ESPN today. We played it earlier in the program, and I want you to hear the part with Jalen Hurts here. He's been in the league going on 5 years now. He's going to start for a fourth year, and I want you to hear this. Listen to this. Listen to this soundbite here.
NFC, Jalen Hurts admits that he was told not to worry about a lot of things when it came to pass protection with Jason Kelce under center. But now, with the passing of the torch to 25-year-old third-year center Cam Jurgens, Hurts will have a more important role in things like picking up the blitz. Here's Hurts on the post-Jason Kelce era.
We had a great player here, Jason Kelce, who took on a lot of responsibility, and a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn and all of that over the years, kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different, and I'm excited for that journey.
That's Jalen Hurts basically saying that the Philadelphia Eagles halted his growth as a quarterback because they told the center to have responsibility. And the number one thing that a quarterback has to learn on reading defenses is where blitz pressure comes from. That's where you pick up your pre-snap assignments, where you pick up your landmarks. And if you're being told, and he's actually here on August 30th, Kelce's not on the team anymore. It was a year ago. You got a game next week. Why are you rehashing this?
Well, this may have been asked the question, and it just came up. Who knows exactly?
So you threw the head coach under the bus too.
I don't really look at it quite the way you do. I think he's talking about, like, in the process of him learning to be a quarterback, certain responsibilities were given to other people. And he's not the first. It's not the first time I've ever heard of a center having a lot of responsibility, especially a veteran center who knows what he's doing, who's making calls for him, on line stuff and giving him reads. Okay. So it's not that unusual. It is, okay, you wonder, can he learn it now?
Right.
But
he's never done it, Jace.
I understand that, but he is a coach's kid, number one. And I think that he has a long established history of learning and progressing and improving. Remember, this is a kid who, left Alabama because he was basically run out of a starting job, went to Oklahoma. Was it Oklahoma or Oklahoma? Oklahoma. I always get those two confused. And he goes to Oklahoma and he balls out. He learns. He learns a new offense, learn an attack, really puts himself out there, puts himself in position to be a relatively high draft pick, learns the pro game, makes progress, does a lot of things that a lot of us out there who watched him at Alabama said, I don't know if he can get here, but he's gotten there because he's a really hard worker. Now, is he I don't know how, is he incredibly quick on the uptake on stuff? Is he Peyton Manning? No, he's probably not Peyton Manning. There are very few guys who are, but I think he's going to pick it up eventually, and they're going to build an offense where it's not always the most critical thing in the world for him to be precise on this.
But Jason, it's 4 years, and how are you developing a quarterback for the first time? He's going to have pass protection responsibilities.
He's had
and
three.
How do you call me? How do you call him elite when he hasn't had any responsibility in that?
When did I say he was elite?
Okay.
I think he's a really good player. Okay. And he's had moments where he's put up some really.
He's looked elite.
He looked elite, but you got to play elite consistently over a long period of time. He hasn't done that yet. But we get back to what are your options at quarterback in this league?
No, I got it.
Yeah, and so I don't take that quite as much of a knock on his head coach, because this is year three different offense coordinators. He's had a lot of transition to deal with. He's had two different head coaches in his career. There's been a lot of change around this guy. It is not, hey, we have a head coach, we've got an offensive coordinator, let's keep them together for 5 or 6 years and everything is smooth and you can grow into what you're doing. That's not what's happened for Jalen Hurts.
How about this? Let's move on now to some of the storylines. Jason, will you have a different opinion Or will this decision move the meter on him moving forward and how you perceive Russell Wilson? If in the first month of the season, this guy ends up getting beat out and Justin Fields rolls in there and takes that job from him, how will you look at him? Or can that stint in Pittsburgh combined with what happened in Denver, can that change the narrative of how people actually look at that player and say, maybe he was a product of what Pete Carroll was always saying in Seattle. It was more Carroll because he hasn't done shit since he left.
There's an arc that there's a narrative that you can write that looks like Donovan McNabb. So,
wow.
Okay. That goes from, I'm thinking this guy's a Hall of Famer too.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm you know what? I'm right here. I don't know, man. I mean, that might be a lengthy debate for that kid.
Yeah, and especially when the caliber of playing quarterback is so high in this league.
If you had to put a guy in the Hall of Fame, would you put McNabb or would you put Wilson in?
Wilson
right now.
Right. If you were comparing, I think Wilson had a better career. I mean, there's some amazing moments in the Super Bowl, right? Now, and I know there's an interception in there too. The
year before was really a great performance.
Yeah, I mean, he did some amazing things, and he had a long stint. But I would put him ahead of Donovan McNabb. I'm sure Donovan doesn't want to hear that, but that's where that goes. I will also say this: I'd be really shocked if he loses his job in the first 9 weeks. Because look at their schedule; it doesn't. It does not get rough until the second half. I painted this.
They are in the AFC North now.
What?
They are in the AFC North. That's a pretty
tough.
But
none of those games are until the second half of the season. Take a good look at that schedule, and you go, "Oh man, I see 7. I can see 7-2 with that defense, and just like averaging 23. If they average like 21 to 23 a game with that defense, I can see 7-2, and then it gets rough. It gets Cincy, Cleveland, Baltimore. Like
shit, they could go 7-2 and miss the playoffs in the AFC.
Oh yeah, you can.
At the rest of the season out with your schedule, like you said.
Right. No, it gets. I didn't say that he's going to lose. I didn't say he's going to ride the whole way. I said the first 9 weeks, then the test comes.
Okay, let me go on to this one here with Jim Harbaugh. Please do this with me here with him. Do you believe Justin Herbert's an elite quarterback?
Yes.
The numbers are insane and stupid great. And, I mean, how do you look at, do you think he's a modern day Dan Marino and a guy like Rivers and guys who put big numbers up? They win a lot of games. I mean, he did have Brandon Staley, who was completely a train wreck in Los Angeles. I think coaching around him has been awful at times. But, I mean, Herbert just looks so great at times. And then you go, how come he hasn't done more?
Well, he's a great player. He's absolutely, I mean, he's better than Tua, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Now, is he Joe?
I think he's better than Lawrence.
Oh, yeah. I think he's better than Lawrence. I think he's better than
I think he's better than Hurts.
As a thrower, yes. As a complete package, that's a little bit different.
You could make the comment he's better than Lamar.
Again, as a thrower, Lamar's won a lot of games and done some pretty wonderful things and progressed.
700 win percentage.
Look, it's pretty remarkable what Lamar's done. And great, the way that they play, the way they've designed the defense, all that other stuff, and just much better coaching, much better game management.
Oh yes.
Right. But if you said, okay, if I traded out Justin Herbert for Lamar Jackson, would the Ravens be any worse off? And I would say, no, not really. They would have a different looking offense, but I think that they would be as well run. So I would make, if I was the Baltimore Ravens and I was offered Justin Herbert straight up for Lamar Jackson, I'd probably make the deal.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, because I think
I have John Harbaugh and I have DeCosta and that Ravens organization. They'll put the proper people around him.
Yeah.
I know that Baltimore will build a team around him.
Right. Now, the question is, will San Diego, because Harbaugh is going to be great in terms of teaching toughness, making sure guys are game ready, preparing games, game situations, all those kinds of things. He's going to be terrific. The question always comes down to, will the Chargers spend the kind of money that they need to spend at critical times to make sure that they have talent around him? And I think that Harbaugh, if they don't,
he's coaching University of San Diego again.
He's coaching anywhere he wants, but he can't go back to college just yet. But can you imagine the argument between him, and you could put both of the Spanos boys together, John and AJ, and just put them, and that room, the alpha maleness of Jim Harbaugh taking over that conversation and basically baiting them into spending money. And I like John Spanos a lot, right? I've met, and I think
I know both of them.
Yeah, I think he's trying really hard to make them a good football organization because he runs the football ops, and his head and heart are in the right place.
They're spending more money than what Alex ever wanted to do. Yes.
Well, or Dean, really. Dean was never really spend either. Now he did make the move.
Dean didn't want to spend a lot of money either. Got it.
But John wants to be good in football and has worked on the football side. But still, there is John Harbaugh in a room with the times he just berated Trent Baalke. He eviscerated Trent Baalke, who considers himself a bit of an alpha male, right?
Yeah.
And Harbaugh he took his nuts away, man. He just took them away.
18 million reasons why he went like this.
Yeah. Telling you that. Jim Harbaugh is
They fired the GM that they loved in Tom Telesco. That has been an organization that has been run by A.J. Smith, that has been run by Tom Telesco. They gutted the entire structure of how they do business. What's his name? Was traded away because of A.J. Smith. I'm talking Drew Brees. I know he got hurt and all that, but they let that guy walk out the building for nothing after the injury because A.J. wanted to keep Rivers and Marty wanted to keep.
And it was the right decision. It was the right decision.
Wait a minute. If Brees stays in San Diego, that team may still have won a Super Bowl and it may still be in San Diego.
But wait, whoa. They should have won a Super Bowl
with Rivers.
That was Marty's fault.
The early team that lost in the AFC title game to the Patriots, that early team, they should have won that game.
That Marlon McCree game,
is
all on Marty, and I like Marty, but it's all on Marty. Absolutely.
4-14, man. Postseason, the guys won 200 ball games. How can you have a record like that in the postseason?
Hey, I remember
206. He's got more wins than Chuck Noll.
But I was at Kansas City for the Kansas playoff game when Elvis Gerback took 30 seconds to throw that. That's just a travesty. That play. That because he was so scared of John Elway. He was so frightened that on 4th and 5, instead of let's just take the dump pass underneath and get a first down, and let's run 2 or 3 more plays. They run the clock down so they can take one shot at the end zone. It's the dumbest. It was the most panicked football you've ever seen in your life. Anyways,
my cousin played for him. My cousin played for him in Cleveland, and he was just. Stop me if I
which
Pizzulli. Pizzulli backed up Bob Golick. He played at Pitt, and I think I
field for the drive.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he had a sack on Elway on the drive.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Pizzulli. Yeah,
Pizzulli had a sack on Elway. That's his claim to fame.
That single drive did more to change the arc of Marty Schottenheimer's career.
Oh yeah,
than any 5 minute.
More than the fumble.
More than the fumble, that drive, because I think he watched slowly but surely as John Elway went down the field and cut by cut, said, "Okay, I'm opening up your chest cavity. Let me do this. and I'm taking your heart, and let me show it to you as I take it out of your body and examine it, look at it a little bit, and now I'm just going to toss it to the side. I'm throwing your heart into the dog pound where they can go ravage on it. Okay.
What was cool about that setup is that Pazzulli, that game was played at the same week that my national title game was played when we played Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl, and Pazzulli and I were both in SI in that Sports Illustrated that week. Let me move on here. I want to get you this. How shocked are you that the Ayuk deal? By the way, I heard this, that they tried to make a move for the receiver in Denver, did the 49ers, and they also made a call to Cincinnati about T. Higgins before they ended up signing Brandon Ayuk to this contract. I mean, does that shock you that they were out shopping around and then they decided to land on the guy anyway and give him a tick under
because
the contract was?
Once you make the deal, you've also backed yourself into having to make, once you trade Ayuk, then you back yourself into the next deal. Now, is there a way to do a one-year Band-Aid move? Yeah, but look, the whole plan, the whole way along, has been to sign Ayuk, run the table, but run it back this year with all the guys, and then make your decision on where you are with guys like Kittle and Debo and some other guys, and then make the transition to the next set of guys, which is why Pearsall's there. So they're staying on plan. It cost them a lot more than it should have. And the 49ers have this bad tendency. It's not quite like the Cowboys, but it's close to waiting too long on guys when guys have leverage on you, because I think they're always trying to test whether the guy's willing to really play it out and have the leverage. And so far, like Debo did it, Bosa did it. Now Ayuk's done it. If players have the leverage on you, they're going to use it. And this is a Super Bowl contender. They got to have the guys. It's that simple.
Okay, I'll go back to 49ers in a minute. A couple more for you here, Jace. Boy, I'll tell you something about Dak Prescott. He's the only Dallas Cowboy player I've ever seen that talks shit to Jerry Jones because he can. And here's why. He's got a no trade. You can't tag him. You now have put yourself to what you just said up against the 23rd hour of the clock here when it comes to getting your deal done. He knows he's getting $60 million from either you, or if he goes on the open market. To your point about Cousins, you were dead on. That dude's going to make $60 million, and he said it. I stopped caring what Jerry said to the media. I stopped listening a long time ago. And he goes, whether I make that money here or I make it somewhere else, I don't care. I'm concerned about Cleveland right now. Other than that, I don't care. And I'm going like, holy shit. I mean, players don't talk like that to Jerry Jones in public like that. And even though that was truthful and subtle, he just basically told Jerry, I'm walking out the door if you don't get this deal done in 5 days.
I don't call that subtle. I can just tell you that.
I don't either. That's not $60 million is not subtle.
Well, $60 million is not subtle. And like, whether I'm here or whether I'm not, it's,
Don't let me go to New York and play for the Giants.
Somebody's going to want me.
I know.
Like, it's just the cost of doing business in this league. And this is Jerry. See, Jerry loves this stuff. You would
the more you wait, like CD and all this stuff, the more it costs you, like it did the first go around with Dak.
But Jerry thinks that this is publicity. He thinks this is advertising.
It's pretty expensive advertising, Jace.
I ain't arguing with you, but I'm just telling you, like, this is part of the soap opera.
So this isn't set up. He's doing this on purpose.
Yeah, because he thinks it's all part of the drama. The other part is that every time you mention Jerry's name, it makes Jerry even bigger than he ever has been. Jerry doesn't go quietly. Jerry wants to be. Jerry thinks he's a player. Right?
Yeah.
Dan Rooney was the guy who sat there and, like, well, we got to get it done. And, I'll be over here, and he didn't want the glory. Jerry wants the glory. And the negotiations are all part of the glory. It's what he loves. He loves the back and forth. He loves the tension. He loves to do this. But at the end, it's like, you got to pay guys.
So the drama has been more important to the Cowboys than actually building a championship team.
Yes. It's what excites him on a day. He'll never admit that publicly. And I'm not sure he even can intellectualize it. But as the saying is the saying. The actions are louder than the words. The actions are always, it's a delay, a delay, a delay, a delay, a delay. And why? No good reason. You got to pay the guys.
Finally here, Trent Williams is the 6th highest paid player now. And I did have a conversation with John Lynch. This guy wants to be paid the top dollar of the offensive tackles right now. That would mean this. He'd be the highest paid player non-quarter. Well, the quarterback only makes $890. He'd be the highest paid player on that team. Bosa makes $35 million. He'll make $36 million. I think he's at 28 now, and he wants $36 million. Do you think they get that deal done before the end of the week of next week, before they have to go and play the Jets on Monday night, I believe?
What choice do you have?
I'm not. Hey, if it came down to Ayuk or him, Ayuk, I'd have sent him to the Toronto Argonauts. I want Trent Williams on my team, dude.
You have no choice. Is that like he's the better player?
He might be the best player on that team. If you had to vote for a Hall of Famer out of those Niner players, you would put Trent in first.
Yes. If you were talking about top 5 players in the NFL, period.
He could be in that room too.
Right. Top 5.
Yes. Yes.
He's not better than Mahomes. Tyreek is a different cat. He's better than any running back in the league, even McCaffrey.
He might be the best tackle since Orlando Pace.
Well, he's better than Orlando Pace. Yeah, he might be the best tackle.
No way, not Munoz.
Walter Jones.
Okay, the guy from Seattle was a good. He was a really good football player. Yes, sir.
When he kicked out and was running downhill at you, it was scary.
Yeah.
The other offensive tackles didn't run down field like that. Ogden was more of a stationary guy who controlled it. Baselli would run downfield.
Baselli needed more years to make that distinction on being up there with them dudes, but he would have been, but only 9 years really hurt that because Tony Baselli was an elite player.
Absolutely. He's as good. He's as gifted as Moon.
Yep.
He's, physically just didn't have the career. But when I watch Trent Williams, like, he wants to get downfield. He runs downfield. He wants to hustle. And he
moves so well for a big man.
Who's 36? 36.
How does Washington let that guy walk out the building because of the mismanagement of the doctors and such and that whole thing that happened?
Manage of the whole organization. Like, they just that's a clown show. I mean, under Dan Snyder, that was a clown show. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't understand how to evaluate what real football players were, which is why, when Scott McClough was there and he said, "Hey, let's buy out 4 years of Kirk Cousins for like $12 million a year." Right? And then Bruce Allen sitting there going, "Oh, well, I don't want to do, I don't want to step out like that. Let's play the franchise tag game with him." And it's like, that's dumb. Hey,
wait, get this. Can you tell me, has Washington been better at quarterback since Cousins?
No. This year they'll find out, right? I mean, this year they finally invested in the position, and and we'll see if the kid's good. But no, Cousins is he's a better than average to very good quarterback who gets on a roll and can win you a bunch of games, get you into the playoffs. You know, the difference is that he's going to have a brain fart somewhere along the line where he can also lose a critical game for you. All right. And so you have to live with that. And so you have to construct a team around him that's a little bit better. But he gives you a fighting chance to be a contender.
I'm going to give you this last nugget here from Howard Balzer, who is one of the 50 guys like yourself that's a Hall of Fame voter. I asked him the same question that I asked you. I go, what do you make of Eli Manning as a Hall of Famer? He goes, not here. And I went, wait a minute. He goes, Jim Plunkett. I go, wait a minute. Jim Plunkett. He goes, Dan, you know, he goes like this. He goes, I got it. Rookie of the year, New England. He sucked. They ruined him there. He had nice years with the Raiders. But however, I go, you're telling me right now, you don't believe that Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. And he basically said, no. I think we lost Jason here. Hopefully we're able to get him back because I'd like to hear his comments on that because Jason has a vote for the Hall of Fame. And yeah, I want to hear his comments because Howard Balzer is not voting for as of right now. Let's bring back Jason Cole here. Let's see. He's not voting for him.
He's not voting for him right now. I mean, like
right now.
Right now. I mean, the discussion is to be had. And I don't know that I'm voting for him right now either. And I would have I have my hesitations. But the Plunkett
now,
thing,
as a first ballot guy, or is it a Hall of Famer in total? Because there seems to be for you guys have been put in a box where either you have to have, and they've kind of separated the Hall a little bit with you guys, the voters. Are you going to put him number one, which means are you going to make him a first ballot, or is he going to be a Hall of Famer? Nothing wrong. I'll take any one of them gold jackets, and I get that, and it's an honor. No, I don't care what year I go in. However, first ballot is a little bit different than being a Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
But there's a caveat to first ballot, okay? And the caveat is who else is in the class? Who else is on the ballot?
I don't think players look at it like that.
No, they don't, but they don't know the distinction. And sometimes guys just understand.
I agreed.
Like, I love Jason Taylor, and I thought he was a terrific player. When he got in on the first ballot,
no way.
I was like,
no way.
And I supported him, but I was like,
he's not better than Leslie O'Neal.
Yeah, I'd argue that. I'd have that argument.
Leslie's got 135 sacks. He's 6.
Wait a second. Wait, before we go down this road, I don't want to do that. I'm just saying, even I was like, wait a sec, first ballot? Like, wait a sec, did we do that good a job presenting him or something like that? I was like, what just happened here? Like, and again, I think he's a Hall of Fame player. I didn't think he was going to get in on the first ballot, but he did. And so this is what the players all see, some kind of distinction and some kind of difference, but they don't understand. And people don't really look at it is sometimes it's who else is on the ballot. So I haven't looked at who else is on the ballot with Eli. I have my problems with Eli, but at the end of the day, he held up his end of the bargain in one of the toughest places in the league to play.
You guys are going to be pressured from the league to put him in.
Of course we are. Of course we are. We're going to be pressured by the Manning family, by the Manning family mafia, the whole thing.
The New York media.
I don't know that the New York media is completely 100% behind Eli. Let me just.
You think Myers? You think Myers, who's up?
Myers is behind Eli. Don't. Yeah, but let me just say this about Plunkett because I love Plunkett. He's a Stanford guy.
Heisman winner too.
Yeah, Heisman winner. That doesn't matter for this thing, but it is a notch in your belt. Look, it's an incomplete career because even the years when he won 2 Super Bowls, he wasn't the guy.
I know.
He wasn't the guy. And the other thing about it is, as tough as he was, and he's a tough Jim Plunkett is one tough.
I worked with him, Jason, when get this. I don't think I've ever told you this. When I was at KMBR, I was a sideline reporter for the Stanford Cardinal when Tyrone Willingham was the head football coach. And I was sidelined for 2 years. And I think a guy by the name of Bob Murphy, does that sound right? Bob Murphy and Plunkett used to call the games. And I was the sideline guy for 2 years for Stanford Cardinal football. And I used to go to that really cool stadium that, like, I think they've downsized the stadium. But when I was there, I think that thing was 98,000 fans or some
86.
Okay, it was because there was a Super Bowl that was played in that thing at one time.
Yeah.
And I remember working with Jim, and Jim was a tough as shit dude, man. I really liked Jim Plunkett.
Jim Plunkett's a good guy. He's a great leader. He was, he's a perfect guy. He's a perfect Raider quarterback, all those things. But man, his career is just so incomplete. And it's so
I think it was the organizations that beat him up. San Francisco beat him up.
He played horrible. He played at horrible places. I mean, the Patriots,
Patriots was horrible. A whole thing was.
The Patriots in the 1970s are a joke. The San Francisco 49ers of the 70s are a joke. He had basically sit out 2 years before he got healthy and get back on the field. But he was behind Pastorini at one point. He was behind some other guys, and got back in there. It's just not enough. And again, I would love to sit here and tell you Jim Plunkett deserves to go in the Hall of Fame, but I got to be honest about it. I just don't see it. Eli Manning, as inconsistent as he was, he was there every week, man. That guy was and took and took all the ugliness that New York had to throw at him, and all that kind of stuff.
Played a ton of consecutive games.
Yeah, and just he let it all slip off of his back. So that's a huge notch in his favor. But it's not great, man. It's not great.
Here's my take. A Giants history. I mean, I think Sims is better, and I think Charlie Conley's better. I mean,
maybe Sims was tough as nails too. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I'll just say this. I bet you it matters more to Archie and to Peyton than it does to Eli. That's the funniest part about this is if he's in the Hall of Fame, I don't know that he would care. but his brother Peyton cares a lot because he loves his brother, number one, and number two, they're football royalty. And so, there's going to be a lot of pressure. And so more than likely, I think Eli gets in. The whole first ballot thing, I don't see it, but stranger things have happened.
Absolutely. Jason, you have yourself a great weekend, my friend.
Enjoy, my man. Well,
last weekend
before showtime, baby.
Absolutely. I love talking ball with you. I'll talk to you next week. Thank you, Jace.
Anytime.
You got it. Our friend Jason Cole, Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. The legendary Philly Godfather is going to join us next. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up, and good good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. We appreciate you guys coming aboard. Thank you so much. The legendary Philly Godfather will be joining us here in a couple minutes here. Pretty interesting, some of the things that have been said today. By the way, these guys at WIP are, I love it. Thank you. Keep bringing them over. You want to keep talking about Big Sills on your show? You want to make a 3-hour show about Big Sills? Have at it. I loved it. JAKIB Sports. Always remember something when you're talking shit here. S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. JAKIB Sports and Sills. Okay? I like that. You know how many opportunities and how many people I don't even think Joe knows this. You know how many people ask me to go on shows, radio shows, TV shows, and I say no every week. I say no at least 6, 7 times. You know why? Why in the world would I go on them other shows when I want you to come here? I don't do shit for free. I did it when I was younger. Them days are gone. Well, it's still, you get more. I don't need more exposure. You know where I'm at. I don't have to stand on a hill any longer. I stand right in front of you. You got a radio station barking and talking shit over there about me. Personally, I don't give a shit. Angelo comes on this show. It'll be on Monday. How you doing? How you doing? Love it. And I'll get your little panties in a bind. Is it okay there, lover? Look at these guys, man. Hey, do me a favor. Who is their afternoon show? Who exactly is their afternoon show? You know what, Yale? Jacob Yale runs through Xander, Joe, John, myself, and a cast of others, and Joe's family. Okay? That's what this thing runs through. You know what's happened? Kind of weed out a lot of things, and you get to the candidates, kind of like holding a primary. Well, someone used to know how we used to do it, but you vote on the guy, you put the guy in the room, then you vote on the guy in November. We used to do that shit. Now, we don't do that anymore. But hey, it's all right. Things change. Okay? Another subtle slap. Yeah, Twiz, I don't have the acreage, but what do you put? talk about business here. What are you, crazy? Hey, how about this one? I thought Adrian Cooper was the clear cut Mike by the way everyone is talking about him. Hey, by the way, I told you Adrian Cooper 6 months ago that the kid from Texas A&M was going to be a good ball player. Okay? I said he was going to be a good ball player then. Crazy, man. So CBS came out with a list. By the way, our friend Philly Godfather is going to join us soon. And there's good old Twiz. How you doing? Hey, Yale. Isn't it funny? We say some shit here. Hang on here, Yale. We say stuff here, and it ends up over on WIP. It's kind of crazy. Sills, he's not even a starter on the Packers depth chart now. Let's see here. Look at Crowley, said Sills. Who's Crowley? And neither is your guy a starter at corner. All those great draft choices, Crowley. You ain't got one starting at his true position? Damn. I thought you said you had a good draft, Crowley. None of those guys are starting? Oh, just wait for a Cooper DeJean to get back, He'll be ready to rock. Just remember when he gets back there. Okay? Hey, wait a minute here. No, I'm not going to do it. Nah, not going to give you the time of day, kid. I know you're trying as hard. You got your rattle. There's a couple guys in here that, when you walk by like a playpen and you see a guy and you see a little baby with a rattle and he's rattling away. Please notice me. Please notice me. Yeah. Some of those guys in here like to slap. Please notice me. Please notice me. I'll get to you one day, kid. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, man. Do you think hip drop tackle rule will have an effect on the season? I think you're going to see a shitload of missed tackles, my friends. Okay? Philly bumfather? What are you talking about? This guy's going to help you earn a condo. Coop is a bust. Not a starter for the Packers. No, that would be Nakobe, Jimmy Dean. The linebacker in Philly would be a bust. That's who that would be. Hey, by the way, Twiz, is Jordan Davis a bust? How many people in here? Let's do that. I like this little exercise. Actually, he's hurt a little bit, John. He's not a bust. Let's do this. Where's my phone? Okay. Here we go. Let's take a look at Howie on defense here. So, since Nick Sirianni. Philadelphia Eagles year-to-year draft. Here we go. We won't do this year because we don't know what they're going to do. We have no idea. And I don't have any idea, so I can't call these guys busts or what have you. But let's see. Is Jalen Carter a bust? No. He's not a bust. Is Nolan Smith, as of right now, Nolan Smith trending, hey, Yale, trending to be a bust. 30th pick. We're doing defense. Twiz doesn't think Nolan Smith's a bust. Nolan Smith's a bust. Tyler Steen. Don't think he's a bust. Okay? But I don't think he's a great player. I think he's Andre Dillard. That's an offensive player. My mistake. Sidney Brown, incomplete. Can't touch him. Hurt his knee. Keely Ringo. No, he's not a bust. I don't think so. Tanner McKee. That's offense. Excuse me. Ojimo. Is he a bust? No. 7th round pick. He's still on the team. That's a good pick, actually. Pretty good pick. N'Kobe Dean. Bust. Milton Williams. Not a bust. Zach McPherson. Bust. Marlin. Bust. (2020) Devin Taylor. Bust. Kayvon Wallace. Bust. Sean Bradley. Bust. Yeah, man, I'm going to stop because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here. How you doing? Hey, Yale. Actually, Yale, this is one of the best picks that the Eagles have had in the last 3 years. This is one of the best picks. He's still on the team, and he was a 7th round draft choice. Okay? That's a pretty good pick. He's going to contribute. The Dean is not a bust yet. He had to add yet. Can't have it both ways, Big Day. Hey, Big Day. You can't have it both ways, Junior. Not happening. Nope. Eagles must be great. They keep drafting bust. It's still being good. Who says you're good? Your defense was 26 last year. How you doing? Okay, that's a good take. Twiz finally with a decent take. It's only taking him 4 hours or 3.5 hours to have a good take all day. Not bad, Twiz. Usually you don't have any. I judge just a bust by if they get another contract sales. That's a good take, about time. It's only taking him 3.5 hours to have a decent take. The rest of them, I mean, Jesus. I mean, normally Twiz has a good take every 4 hours or 3.5 hours. That's a pretty good one. That's a good player, man. That kid has actually played himself into something here. Oh, my God. Listen, look at this. Wait a minute. N'Kobe Dean actually shows good football IQ. That player got into the backfield, then raced across the field to make the tackle versus the baggage handlers over at Philly X. You see those baggage handlers now? They work over at the Delta dock, and they're loading baggage over at the Delta terminal, you know, over at the Philly airport. So, hey. Yeah, those guys, hey, really a great play he made against the 4th-team Minnesota Vikings. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, okay. Dude, he does show good football IQ. Here's how preposterous this take is by Jack and whomever. Forrest. In 218 NFL plays, he's shown good IQ. Oh, my God. And all those 218 plays, Sills, that he's played, He has shown great football IQ. It changed. All 218 plays. Yes. Oh. All 218 plays. He's shown good football IQ. Yeah. It must. Hey, you guys are on your game today. IQ must mean I quit. Oh, man. That poor kid better play good this year, man, or he's going to be a hot dog come bye week. Look, Sills, you can't wait as much as we can't wait until next Friday to show and let the people know who is boss in the league. We got the talent, but we need to show up and not show and tell. Abe, honest to God, if they do everything right if you do everything right offensively, next Friday, that game will be a fourth quarter ball game. It'll be a fourth quarter ball game. If you do things stupid and you think that you're going to outthrow Jordan Love and you get behind in that game, they'll run you off the field. They'll beat you by 3 touchdowns. Because your defense will not be ready to stop a prolific passing game. It just won't. You will not be ready to do that. You got to understand something. This defense is going to take some time for you to be able to mature and for you to be able to gather your feet. Even your guy says it. Vic Fangio has said it. He said this is going to take some time. All right. Are you guys ready? It is time for someone like, you know what we used to have? Let's Make a Deal back in the day with Monty Hall. This guy's like the Monty Hall of sports betting. We're going to make a deal for you. I'm going to give you the information. We're going to try to make you some money. All you have to do is know this. And I learned one thing. If you're 65% or 63% over the money you bet on a yearly basis, you could become a millionaire. And speaking of that, here he is, the legend himself, Mr. Philadelphia, Philly Godfather. Appreciate you jumping aboard, brother.
You're the next contestant on The Price is Right, brother. What's going on?
You're the next contestant with Philly Godfather. Here's what we do each and every single week to try to make you some money. I'm going to do something backwards here a little bit. I'm going to ask you a question. I watched that Colorado team last night. They're terrible. However, Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter are probably the 2 best players potentially in the NFL draft next year. How is that Colorado team looking for more than 6 wins? Do you think that team wins more than 6?
Nah, that's right on the money, right around 6 games. But like you said, Shador Stevens, what do you have, Sanders? He had 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, threw for like 450. Hunter, what did he catch for like over 100 yards, receiving yards? And that other wide receiver they got had what, 198 on the day. I forget his name.
That's Joe Horn's kid.
Yeah, that kid's come on.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's Joe Horn's kid who played with the Rams. Or no, New Orleans. He's a really good ball player.
Yeah, so they got some horses on offense, but to win over 6 games, I mean, they'll exceed all expectations on the season. But I listen, it's Deion, and a lot of people hate him, a lot of people love him, and I learned don't bet against him, man, because last year they were in a lot of games that they shouldn't have been in. Their season win total was set at 2 wins last year. They won 4 games. So he is what he is, but he gets those kids, ready to play.
All right, has the meter moved or has the needle moved when it comes to Packers and Eagles?
Yeah, it's up to 2.5, actually. Eagles up to 2.5. So you saw that line open at 1.5. It went down to a pick 'em.
Oh, I'm jumping on the Packers on that.
Well, I would wait for that key number of 3 because, 16% of all football games land on 3. So why take, the worst of the number? So when it gets to 3, which I think it will, the way the public's betting the Eagles in that first game of the season, then I think you got a shot of winning that wager. +3 on the Packers.
Boy, I don't see the Eagle defense stopping Jordan Love. I just do not. Who's going to match up against Christian Watson in that secondary when you play 2 high safety and you're 10 yards off the ball and you have no pass rush? How are you getting to him? And here's the key to that ball game, too, in my opinion. If they can't stop Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs runs the ball and he's running at 4.5 yards a clip, play action becomes an issue. You have to you have to bring those linebackers closer to the line of scrimmage. That middle zone's wide open. Man, I think if they get ahead, do you agree? If the Packers get ahead, the Eagles are in trouble if they get a 14-point lead in that ball game.
This Eagles offense is going to be really good this year, Dan. The total on the game's 48.5, 49. So they're expecting some points. You see Hurts' MVP odds drop down to like 13-1 now. There's only 3 guys ahead of him to win the MVP. They picked up Dotson. They got Saquon Barkley. They got the studs they had from last season on offense. The Eagles now have the 4th or 5th best odds to win the Super Bowl. So their odds keep dropping. This is going to be a very talented offense. Like we said a couple of weeks ago, we said it last week on the show, expect a ton of shootouts in South Philly. This team's going to be in a ton of high-scoring games this season.
I'm going to do some NFL ball games here. We're probably going to do more of this next week, obviously, but just kind of a precursor here. Then we're going to do some college football. There's pretty good games this weekend here. Yeah. These are my top 5 games. Baltimore, Kansas City, Thursday. That's my number 1 game. Do you like Baltimore to roll in there and win that game?
It's tough against Mahomes at home. First game of the season. Now, they lost last year to the Lions, but they were a little banged up going into that game. On paper, Baltimore appears to be the better team, slightly better defense. Now, the better quarterback obviously is on the Kansas City Chiefs here. But if you can get the right number, I think it's 2.5. It opened up 3, went to 2.5, went back to 3. So bouncing back and forth. But if you do take the Ravens in this matchup, make sure you get at least +3 points on the ball game.
So you want to wait? How long do you wait? Do you wait till Wednesday?
I wait, man. I'm waiting until I gather enough predictive indicators, until I check enough boxes off, and then I'll fire. Right now, that game to me, it can go either way. So I'm waiting for more information that, out of the market. As it does, obviously opinions change. And if I get all the right boxes checked off, then I'll make a wager. But I haven't bet the game yet.
Green Bay at Philly. Who are you taking in this?
It's a tough one. I'm
taking the Packers.
Yeah, if it gets to 3, I'll probably take the 3 on the Packers as well. It's a great number. +3 on the road, neutral site. Who knows what can go on down there? Yeah, +3 is probably the right number on the Packers in that one.
I always tell you, if you go to Sao Paulo, keep your hands above the table. That's all you need to know. Ready? All right. And drink the bottled water at the hotels.
Don't eat the ice cubes.
Don't eat the ice cubes, or don't eat anything else. Don't eat any cannolis. I'll just leave it at that here. All right. 3rd game. Monday night game. Jets and 49ers. You know what? I don't know why, but why do I like the Jets?
Yeah, you're getting 4 points. I took them in a teaser with the Ravens, so I teased the Ravens down from 8.5, 9 down to 1.5 or 2, and I took the Jets at +11. This Jets team, I took them over 9.5 wins on the season. They're going to be favored in 14 of the 17 games this year, so all they got to do is win 10 games for you to cash that ticket. So if you want to place that wager now, over 9.5 wins on the Jets. Yeah, I think +4 points is the right side. I think the Jets are the right side. I haven't bet the side yet. I did bet the teaser already, but I'll probably end up on the Jets +4.
Number 4 game, Cowboys at Cleveland. It's a Sunday game. It's in Cleveland. Cowboys roll into that. They have CeeDee Lamb now. Why do I like Cleveland? Tell me why I'm wrong. Is Cleveland the play here?
Now, the market agrees with you. It opened up Cleveland -1. It's up to 2.5. Anything under that key number with that defense, they're healthy this year for the Browns. I mean, you can throw in any quarterback on that team, and with that type of defense, you can beat anybody. I'm expecting the Cowboys to regress. They're not going to have that top 5 offensive line that they've had in previous seasons. Yeah, I think the Browns probably this. I didn't bet it yet, but I think the Browns are the side. Anything under field goal.
you want to hear something crazy? If Jim Schwartz has another year where that Cleveland team ends up the number one defense in the NFL, that'd be 2 years in a row. He won a Super Bowl in Philly. He was a former head coach in Detroit. I could see him getting some more interviews and another opportunity. You know, he won the NFL Assistant Coach of the Year award last year as well in Cleveland. I could see Jim Schwartz getting some interviews potentially. If that team ends up going far into playoffs and they're number one in defense, how could you not look at him and give him another opportunity at coaching again when he's been successful everywhere he's gone?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's if he wants it. You know, I know he walked away from the game. Then he came back, but yeah, he deserves it. I mean, he was a better defensive coach than him, defensive mind. His resume speaks for itself, and you're probably right. He'll probably be a head coach probably next season.
This is a really sneaky good game. Rams at Detroit Sunday. I mean, get this too. What's cool about this game? Stafford going home, and it's Golf playing against McVay. You know, I mean, if I'm Golf, I just got a $53 million per year deal. I put the team in the NFC title game. Now, the Rams, I think I get this. I think the team in LA, everyone's looking at the Chargers there, but I think the Rams are going to be one of the more improved football teams this year. I like Detroit in this game, though.
You like Detroit minus 3.5? I would wait. I think that number drops down to 3. I took the Rams in a teaser as well. Plus 10.5 with the Bengals. I already bet that down to minus 2 or 1.5, depending on what you get. I took the Rams to win the NFC West. I think the 49ers regressed this season. I went under 11.5 wins for the 49ers as well. I bet over in the Rams season win total. So, yeah, this Rams team's stacked. And to me, the two best quarterbacks in the NFC, Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. So don't be surprised if you see him in the NFC Championship game this season.
Absolutely, man. All right. So I want to do some college because I know you do a lot of work on college. And by the way, I'm thinking you're not with a big are you taking Temple versus OU tonight? Let me guess. Hold on. I have to, but don't say it yet. Hold on. What's the spread in this thing? Holy shit. Oh, do you ever take games 43 minus 43? Do you ever take bets like that?
No, I'm not looking to bet the game, but the crazy part is the game opened up at 39.5. It's up to 42.5. It might close 44, but the total is only 57. So they're not expecting anything out of the Temple Owls. That's how bad this team's going to be. I know my buddy Harry Mays, he's a big Temple guy. A lot of friends of mine went to Temple. My brother went to Temple.
Angelo went to Temple.
They're all just scratching their heads at how bad this team is. I haven't bet this game. I'm not looking to bet it. If anything, the game probably might stay under. If Oklahoma goes out to a big lead and they just, pack it in the fourth quarter because Temple can't move the ball. So if you want to maybe go under like 58, you might have a shot, but I'm not looking to bet the game.
Only here do you get that kind of insight in a 43 game with Temple and Oklahoma at Memorial Stadium in Norman. That's where you get the Philly Godfather giving you the inside skinny. Now here, how about this one? I think this is going to be an interesting ball game. It's going to be in Atlanta, and it's not going to be in Athens, but it's Clemson versus Georgia. That's a pretty interesting ball game to start the season. I'm looking at that game, and I think Georgia by 14 or more.
Well, I mean,
does that sound right?
Game opened up 14. It went down to 13, 13.5, and now it's down to 11.5, 12 in some spots. So there's some real sharp money on Clemson. I like Clemson myself. I took them plus 14 points. The total's bouncing around anywhere from 47.5 to 49 all week. I went over 48 in the game. I'm expecting a ton of scoring here. The ticket split, last time I talked to my guys offshore, the public's all over Georgia here. Almost 70% of the public's betting on Georgia. So I never want to be on the public side as well. Georgia, arguably the best roster in the country, right, Dan? Them and Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
What are they? Plus 300 to win it all. So
yep.
They're stacked. But
it could be your two teams in the final game.
But they are a little banged up. They're missing some key players going into this game. And it is the first game of the season. Clemson did have one of the best defenses in college football last season. They were tied with the most takeaways. So they definitely got a top 10. I think Clemson's defense can keep them within the 14 points, keep them within the Vegas number here. I like Clemson plus 14 points.
Wow, I like that. Hey, this is tell me I'm crazy here, but I think West Virginia wins this game and covers against Penn State.
I think the under's the play.
Is that game in Morgantown?
Yeah, I went under 51.5 in that game. Penn State stacked, though, man. They're expected to win 10.5 games on the season. Last year, their biggest nemesis was Michigan and Ohio State. And they were in those games till the end. But, eventually the cream rose to the top and the better roster won those games. But Penn State's going to be pretty good this season. I can't see West Virginia winning the game, but I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than most people.
You think they can cover at least?
Man, what scares me? James Franklin last year,
on
numerous occasions, all they had to do was just kneel the ball, run the ball. And I guess, he's trying to make the boosters happy, and they kept covering spreads that they weren't supposed to be covering. So that's the part that scares me about West Virginia here.
Can I tell you why he does that? I'm told because Manny Diaz was his D coordinator when he was at Penn State before he got the Duke gig, and he was at Miami prior to Mario getting a job. It's for recruiting reasons why they're throwing the ball. They don't want to run the ball like they did in the past because they don't want to attract the running backs. They want to attract wide receivers because where's the teams right now in the country that are attracting wideouts? Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson. Those are LSU. Those are all the teams that are getting these big-time prospect-tied wide receivers from around the country. And you're not recruiting enough wide receiver talent at Penn State. That's why they can't beat Ohio State and they can't beat Michigan. So they need to up that talent at that area, not the running back area. Nobody wants to watch a team run the ball 3 yards in a cloud of dust anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not what we're doing here.
When there's like 10 seconds left and all you got to do is kneel the ball and you go back and you throw a touchdown pass and you cover the spread. Leave you
breaking guys like your backs. Right. I get it here, man. All right. I'm going to get you here. Ben Hill Griffith Stadium, University of Miami goes up to Florida, plays those Gators up there. Please tell me some good love in here with Canes and Gators. By the way, in honor of that, I got my shirt on today. I'm ready to roll for tomorrow.
Yeah, there's some sharp money that took the Gators +3. I don't agree with it. I think the Hurricanes are going to have a top 5 offensive line this season, top 5 defensive line. Then you add in Cam Ward that has the 5th best odds to win the Heisman. You got a great team that can compete for the ACC crown with Clemson this year. I know I think you get +380 on Miami to win the ACC. I think that's a good bet. I went over 9 wins on the season. And I actually took a lottery ticket. I bet it for very, very, very small money. I took the Hurricanes to win it all at 65-1. As long as they don't, last year the biggest issue was turning the ball over. They were 90th in the country in turnover margin, and they had 79 infractions for 751 yards. So as long as that doesn't happen again this season, they're going to have a really good football team. And when you look at this matchup, Miami's got the better quarterback, better defensive line, and I think Cam Ward dices up that Florida's defense. They were 111th in team coverage grade last season and 62nd in team pass rushing grade on defense. The Gators also lost their star edge defender, I forget his name, and they lost 2 of their top 3 cornerbacks to the transfer portal in the offseason. So I think Miami's going to I think they'll put up some points, and I like Miami here on the money line. I think they win the game.
I think one of those guys went to Colorado, actually, one of those corners. I think he ended up going to Colorado, and I thought you saw him last night. How about Notre Dame at Kyle Field, College Station on Sunday? I mean, I don't ever know what to make of Notre Dame because, the one thing that Notre Dame doesn't do still to this day, they very rarely redshirt. And they very rarely, if I'm still not mistaken, they don't use the transfer portal. So they're still stuck in the old ways of doing things. Think about this. You got a young team. You got a 20-year-old kid at Notre Dame. And when you play against A&M, you're probably playing against a 22-year-old kid. I mean, that's a big difference when you're playing against mature kids like that, especially Southeastern Conference kids. In Notre Dame, I never get a sense, and that's why they've done that schedule. If you look at their schedule, compared to the schedule I used to play them, where they were playing everybody and anybody, they're now playing Marshall, Kent State. They're playing programs like that because they got to build that resume up. When you look at Notre Dame going into Kyle Field without Dumbo Fisher, Okay, he's no longer there. He can recruit, but he's a dumbass coach. Who do you like in this ball game? This will be an interesting game on Saturday night.
Yeah, I went under 47.5. I went under 49 in the game. I think you got two good defensive teams. Notre Dame, probably an elite defense here, top 5 defensive line and secondary. Their quarterback, he can beat you with his legs. I'm not sold on him as a passer, but I think they'll be able to, run the ball a little bit on Texas A&M. The Aggies, their biggest strength is their defense as well, but their weakness is on the interior of their offensive line. So I'm expecting the Notre Dame's defensive line to get some pressure on Wegman there throughout the whole game. So I like the under. I like the under 49, 47.5. When it comes to the side, the game opened up a pick. It went to 3. I think the right side is Texas A&M at, on the money line. But if it gets to 3.5, where points are going to be at a premium here, I might be looking to come back a little bit with Notre Dame plus 3.5. But the right side is Texas A&M at a pick 'em.
I'm going to take a line from my good friend Tony Bruno. Okay. Stone cold, lead pipe lock. This weekend is LSU thumping on Sunday, Southern Cal. USC can't play a lick of defense. They've lost their quarterback. They've lost numerous guys on that offense. Lincoln Riley cannot recruit defense when he was at Oklahoma and at Southern Cal. By the way, come Monday, people around the nation are going to be saying, that's the worst hire that USC has ever had was Lincoln Riley, because that guy is not stepping up as a USC head coach making $12.5 million a year. They bought him a $7 million home to entice him to leave Norman to go to Southern California, and he's been atrocious. My take is LSU beats them, and I think they beat them big.
LSU and over. I bet the over already. I went over 62, 63. I think it's up to 65. I think there are going to be a ton of points scored in that game. I think you're right. LSU and over is the side.
Florida State lost to Georgia Tech. This is the Monday game between BC. Not that BC's anything to look at here, but is Florida State, did they just get the break speed out of them in that bowl game by Georgia where they just now, you look at it too, they lose that quarterback of a year ago where they went undefeated. He ended up getting hurt, went in the bowl game, and Georgia just poleaxed them. Then they got into that game over in Ireland this past weekend and got upset by Tech. I mean, is that a football team that is being overhyped and overrated right now that could be actually out of the top 25? If they lose this game here to Boston College is unranked.
Yeah, I don't think they lose the game, but I think you're right, man. I mean, if you look at the box score, Florida State won the time of possession battle. They didn't turn the ball over, and they still lost to Georgia Tech. Usually, you lose games that you lose a turnover differential. But that was a tough game. Georgia Tech beat them straight up. Going into this one, spread was 21. I took some Boston College plus 21. Line went all the way down to 14, came back right back to like 16.5, 17. So I think 3 touchdowns way too much here, even though I think FSU bounces back and wins this game. Because, I mean, let's be honest, this Boston College team, they might not win 6 games all season.
Agreed.
I mean, they do have a strong run game, and Georgia Tech did run the ball down Florida State's throat last week. And they got a quarterback that can run the ball. I think he was only second to Jaden Daniels last year in rushing yards among all FBS quarterbacks. But he ain't scaring you with his arm, and he's a turnover machine. At least he was last season, Castellanos. So I think Florida State wins this game. Do they cover the 17? That's right there. I like Boston College plus 21. If it gets back to 14, I might look to come back with Florida State a little bit. But I like Boston College plus 3 touchdowns.
Always remember something about Georgia Tech. They make bombs and debate teams. They don't make football teams.
Well,
so when you're getting beat by a debate team, that's a problem. Yeah. No. So we found out no Temple OU betting today since the game is in Norman. He'd like to have had that game more at Lincoln Financial. All right. Hey, the baseball. Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, are they your slam dunks MVPs?
We gave them out beginning of the season. I mean, we talked about it. Ain't no one beating them. I mean, they just Aaron Judge is having an unbelievable season. And this Yankees.
I'm going to make a comment to you about that. He might be the best power hitter from the right side of the plate in Yankee history.
Wow, it's a big statement.
I mean, because think about the only guy to hit 50 home runs from the right side of the plate was A-Rod. DiMaggio hit 49 one year. DiMaggio's probably the best pure hitter from the right side of the dish. But this guy's probably the best power hitter that they've ever had, because this will be, his second season now going over 50 home runs? I mean, it's pretty impressive.
It's so hard to compare eras because you got more teams. The pitchers aren't as good. They go 4 innings, they're out. They pull out.
Yeah, and you're playing against all white guys back in the day too. You could say it here.
There's so many different things you can look at.
Traveling.
Yeah, man, I don't know. But yeah, you know what? You bring up a good argument, and if he continues at this pace, who's going to be better than Aaron Judge?
Philly's chances of winning the World Series have gone up or down?
Basically the same. I mean, we talked about it before the season started. Dodgers, Yankees, Phillies, Orioles. You're probably going to see those 4 teams in the end.
Man, sports world is kicking up right now, isn't it? I mean, dude, there's a lot of things, man. You must be overtime right now with all your guys, right?
I only sleep about 4 to 6 hours during football season. So, I try to take some naps here and there. You got to watch the screen. You got to watch the betting market 24 hours a day.
Yeah, but for you, look at this. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and now that you've got next week, you've got Thursday football, plus you got college, and you got Friday football, plus you've got college. Then you got Saturday, a full slate of games, then the Sunday slate of games, then the Monday slate of games. And as you get into the season after week 5, you start playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday college games, and the Thursday NFL game. It's pretty crazy now how football now just starts dominating the landscape.
And come December, you add in college basketball, NBA, and all that stuff.
Put on.
It gets insane.
Did you get hockey? NHL's in there too?
Yeah, I don't do much hockey. Just, a man's got to know his limitations. But, I try to stick to the 4 major sports. I put a big wager on Ohio State to win it all, Dan. So if you want to give that to the guys. I mean, they spent $20 million on this team. You got a quarterback in Will Howard that third best odds to win the Heisman. You got Chip Kelly offense. If that doesn't scare the shit out of you, I don't know what will.
I actually think he's a good play caller for college. You know why? Yeah. Here's the difference in college versus pros. You only have 47 guys or 53 guys in an NFL roster. Remember something in college? You got 100 kids. So you can run that high tempo and all that pacing, and where you can run that fast break kind of offense, because if a guy gets hurt, you got 18 guys sitting on the bench that could roll right in there, and they're not going to be that far apart in talent. You don't have that in the NFL. You lose 2 or 3 guys in the NFL, you not only hurt your team, you hurt your defensive side of the football because it's 3 and outs. That's why he was never a good mix for the NFL.
Well, yeah, 1 good season, but I think you're right. In college, he's a much better coach. And if you look at Ohio State's schedule, other than Oregon in week 6, I mean, I think they're better than Penn State. They got better coaching. They got the better roster. If they can beat Oregon at Oregon week 6, then they finish up with Michigan last game of the season. I think they're better than Michigan this year. Michigan's expected win total went from 10.5 last year down to 9 this year, so I expect them to regress. And you might see this Ohio State team go undefeated. You can grab plus 250 on them to go undefeated, or you can take them at 4-1 to win the national championship like I did. So, I think they're the team to beat.
Tell the folks where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Philly Godfather. You can stop by the website, thephillygodfather.com, and every Friday on the greatest show in the world, the National Football Show with Big Sills, Dan Sileo, right here, brother.
Love you coming on here, man. I love that. That was a great segment, getting ready for football season here. We will catch you next week. Thank you, brother.
Keep firing. Good luck, guys.
You got it, man. Fantastic stuff. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Thank you guys so much, man. What a full plate of games this weekend for college football. Can't wait to see the Canes play the Gators on Saturday. Sunday game, USC LSU. Then next week, National Football League starts on Thursday. Ravens go to Arrowhead. And then, of course, down in Brazil will be the Packers and Eagles. That'll be a Friday. Guys, make sure you have yourselves a great weekend. We appreciate you so much. I mean, you guys have made it so that you got other radio stations in Philadelphia even talking about us. It's pretty crazy, man. We so appreciate you guys. God bless you guys this weekend. Xander, Joe, we thank you so much. 2 to 6 on Tuesday. We're going to do some kind of show, Xander and I, a little bit for a little hit on Monday to start the season out and start the week out because it is game week. So have a great one. Have a great Labor Day. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the flip side.